buckets. And other new information comes to light. Fox's CB Cotton with more.
A judge denied bail for Brian Walsh, who will remain behind bars. This comes as prosecutors outline new details in this case, and an arrest warrant is unsealed, revealing new surveillance photos. Prosecutors say Walsh was captured behind a face mask, shopping at a hardware store for cleaning supplies. And in another photo, they say Walsh is seen tossing out a heavy trash bag in a dumpster, one of several he allegedly went to the first week of January. The same time frame, Anna's employer reported her missing. Police believe Anna's remains were collected by trash services and may have been incinerated.
Walsh remains in custody and returns to court in August. A woman is suing the state of Minnesota for selling her home. Fox's Mike Emanuel explains.
A Minnesota property rights dispute has nationwide implications over the power of the government to take everything if homeowners don't pay back taxes. Hennepin County, which includes Minneapolis, seized now 94-year-old Geraldine Tyler's former home as payment for approximately $15,000 in property taxes, penalties, interest, and costs. The home was then sold for $40,000, and under the state's forfeiture laws, the county kept the surplus money. Justice Clarence Thomas questioned the state's take-all policy. Minnesota is one of more than a dozen states and the District of Columbia that allows the practice.
A decision in Geraldine Tyler's case is expected in June. Park officials say temporarily shuttered parts of Yosemite Valley reopened for part of today and will fully reopen Monday. The areas were closed over fears of flooding, and officials had expected them to remain closed until Wednesday. I'm Joe Chiro, Fox News.
Your big business dreams mean you should be using the best tools. At Docomo Pacific, you get the best technology at the best value. Visit business.docomopacific.com to get an instant quote. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they will continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $4,100 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 671-475-4545, Upper Tumon 671-647-5626, or in Dededo 671-633-4473.
Since 1997, Island Eye Institute has been committed to your family's eye care needs. From its beginnings, Island Eye Institute has recognized the value in incorporating state-of-the-art technology into personalized care and a commitment to excellence. As Guam's complete eye center, our specialists offer their expertise in glaucoma, retina, cornea, LASIK, cataract, and diabetic eye disease. Island Eye accepts Select Care, Net Care, Take Care, and Stay Well. Call us at 637-2020 to schedule your appointment today. We're located on the second floor of the Baltesh Pavilion in Tumuring.
Guam Regional Medical City is a leader in foot and ankle care in the Marianas. Our podiatry clinic aims to provide exceptional treatments for diabetes, ingrown nails, arthritis, corns, foot and ankle injuries, and much more. Let's get you back on your feet. To learn more, call GRMC's referral office at 671-633-GRMC. That's 671-633-4762. GRMC, reflecting our commitment to providing safe and quality patient care.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. It's 6:06 on Monday, the 1st of May. I'm Donna DeJesus with a look at your local news on The Point. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero has backed out of the proposed lease for Eagles Field, accusing the Guam legislature of blocking her plan to build a new medical campus on the Navy-owned property, and saying the offer of federal assistance has been rejected by the legislature. In response, Speaker Therese Terlahi says the governor misunderstood the legislature's intent. Terlahi stresses that the legislature did not reject the proposed lease. They all agree that Guam needs a new hospital. She adds that Bill 12 ensures that any proposal will be fully disclosed to the public. The governor says she will not request for another extension of the deadline, which was yesterday. Terlahi's committee will hold a hearing to determine the viability of alternative new hospital sites. And GVB President Carl Gutierrez gets to keep his job as a result of an opinion from the AG's office on Friday, nullifying the selection of one of the GVB board directors who voted to open Gutierrez's position on Thursday. Chief Deputy AG Joseph Guthrie wrote that the selection of the GVB's 12th director must be made with the participation of the other 11 directors. Monte Mesa was selected as the 12th member of the board of directors when there were only 9 participating directors. Prior to the selection, Gutierrez requested a legal opinion from the AG regarding the selection of the 12th director. That opinion was pending when the directors decided to bring Mesa on board. Vice President Jerry Perez says GVB is proceeding with business as usual, regardless of any disagreements the board might have with Gutierrez. We'll have more news after this.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. More services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Senator Tom Fisher and Vice Speaker Tina Muñoz-Barnes have introduced Bill 106, proposing to put abortion to a vote to allow the people of Guam to decide on the policy. Fisher explains that he is neither advocating for nor condemning abortion rights on Guam, but says the question of whether or not to allow abortion on Guam would be on the ballot in the next general election. If Bill 106, also known as the You Decide measure, is enacted, voters would be asked to vote yes or no on the proposed Reproductive Health Protection Act of 2023, which would allow healthcare providers to provide abortion services without limitations. Abortion remains legal on Guam. And Toys Tavern in Tamuning had been ordered to close for 90 days, and nearly $300,000 worth of alcoholic drinks were temporarily seized after it was found selling alcohol past the 2 a.m. legal cutoff on multiple occasions. ABC board chairperson Elizabeth Fisher says having patrons park their cars in a lot adjacent to the bar seems intentional, and there had been multiple complaints. Undercover ABC compliance officers were able to stay in the bar at around 2:30 in the morning, and GPD went to the place less than an hour later. The bar owner says he did this to help repay his debts. 9 other bars and stores were also issued notices of violation and a $1,500 fine each, including Mile High Club for operating a bar without any valid business license and selling alcohol without a valid ABC license. Other businesses cited for first-time violations include Bell's Lounge in Manila, Guam Brewery at the Micronesia Mall, 76 Circle K, and Valencia Wholesale in Harmon. And those are your top stories right here on The Point. Now here's Ray with your weather.
You know, I'm amazed that they were able to get that going because you know, the compliance division is like 8 to 5. And,
then they did these
all
investigations at night.
Yeah. So, and people had been asking for those kinds of things for a long time, but they could never get around the idea of, well, yeah, but our assigned hours are 8 to 5. You're going to pay me overtime for that? Do I get night differential and all of those kinds of things?
Maybe they just shifted their hours to...
Maybe. I don't know. That was an interesting story that was floating around, and I like the idea that some of the names have been named, and some of the places. That's not the only ones, guys. Trust me, there's plenty like that. 6:11 in the morning. Let's get into some weather here for Monday. It's Monday, right? Got it all day long. Monday, the 1st of May. How about that? Partly sunny, highs near 86 degrees, winds east 11 to 16 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy. Overnight lows about 79 degrees tonight. Mostly sunny in the forecast for tomorrow. Daytime high should be about 86 degrees. So the heat index, it'll feel like 92 for the first couple of days this week. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night, and Wednesday forecast calling for mostly sunny skies during the day. 20% chance of rain, but mostly isolated showers going to be falling all over the area. And a lot of that has to do with where we are. If you take a look at the weather map, I had it up a little bit earlier. I don't have it up now. Wait, almost there it is. Whew. I feel like, like a cat, running across a floor that's just been waxed. Obviously, slow down, stop. Anyway, so you can see where Guam is kind of in the middle of that line that is dividing the intertropical convergence zone. I know you haven't heard that since Barbara White was doing weather, but that's exactly what that is, where it is kind of up at our latitude. Might be bringing some of those clouds with us, but otherwise expect just some gentle winds over the course of the next couple of days, 11 to 16 miles an hour. Sunrise this morning was 12, almost 13 minutes ago. show at 6 o'clock. Straight up. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:36. Hashtag tell the others. There it is. News and weather together brought to you by Bank Pacific, banking on the Pacific for 68 years.
Half a day. This is Clara Manglona from Security Title with an important warning. Wire fraud is real, and home buyers and sellers are one of the biggest targets, even on Guam. When sending money by wire transfer, be sure to confirm the wire instructions by phone, not email. In this case, it's good to be suspicious and know who you're dealing with. Let the professionals at Security Title work with you to minimize loss due to wire fraud. We are here to help.
In an uncertain world, you have to stay a step ahead. ProSay 101 provides you with the legal documents you need to protect yourself and your family. With ProSay 101, you can access a variety of do-it-yourself legal documents to save you time and money. Wills, trusts, divorce, power of attorney, and much more. They also offer free marriage and relationship counseling. Call 800-303-9240 to learn more. That's 800-303-9240 or visit PROSE101.com.
Oh, that's maybe the most interesting ad that we're running these days. Here's another one. Ray Gibson Show brought to you by APL, American President Lines, a global presence with a local home.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
I see it. 6:14, Ray Gibson Show. Welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It's not my fault. It's brought on by chewing on way too many Tylenols this weekend. So how did your weekend go, Real Joe?
Super
Was
sweet.
it a super sweet weekend? Did you wake up early and decide I'm going to go to the gym and get some 5K out of my system on the treadmill? Yeah, and I sat down in a chair, and all of a sudden I felt my spasm go in the back.
This is like sciatic?
I don't know what no, it's 68 is what 61 years old is what it is. I sat down and I felt the little spasm go in my back and literally it was almost to cry. And I thought
that was it. DOA.
That was
DOA.
So much for the weekend. What'd you do for the rest of the day, Ray? Well, I made it over to Moses, not Moses, but make it over to Carabao to get something to eat, and then home where it was. And you know the thing is, I've got stronger pills than Tylenol.
Ooh, yeah.
But I'm afraid to take them.
Yeah,
because number one,
and then you'll be in a coma.
They're really, really strong, and number two, they're like 7 years old or something like that. Five years.
Ray.
That's what I'm thinking.
Expiration dates don't count on prescription meds.
That's what I'm. In the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking. Every year when they do that Operation Take Back thing, and we even do interviews with them, right? They come over and tell us where to go to Ganya Shopping Center or the mall or someplace to drop off your old drugs or something like that. I do the interview, knowing full well that I've got some of this stuff at the house because
Facebook Marketplace, Ray.
Never
get rid of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go stand outside. Anyway, so that's my the malady of the week here this morning. I tried not to let it slow me down and got some celebrating time in yesterday. Kind of a going away thing for Dennis Benzer.
No, what?
Yeah. Well,
my heart just dropped.
Federal witness relocation program or something like that.
I see.
Yeah. So we had a little
snitch
send-off for him or something like that yesterday. And
I'm just kidding, DB.
I was able to get most of it done. You're the one that's going to get an ice pick in the ear, not me.
God.
Not me. It's a good thing Ray Gibson's not here. He would never let you get away with that kind of thing. Anyway, that's Real Joe, extra frisky here on a Monday morning. You can reach him at 888-8255. 888-TALK is the way that you get through on that. A lot of other ways that you can do it. The meme machine is online and already got a whole bunch from Booney Dog Chamorro, who's out there. He's hooked me up with 3 or 4 really, really good memes like this one here, and it's a two panes on the image, and the upper pane is a man on a horse, and it says cowboy. And if you take the man off, it says cow. This is the new kind of lefty thinking, right? You know, where things are either taken way too literally or not literally enough. But I appreciate that, Booney Dog Tomorrow. Thank you very much for sending that in. And had a conversation yesterday. We were talking about money, and I picked up a couple of envelopes from one of the not the insurance, but one of the investment companies that I've got. And I remarked, I've got stacks of this. I never opened them. I haven't opened them since the Biden administration. There's never checks.
There's big fat checks.
There's never ever checks in. You know what's in there is in the best indicators ever that the value of my retirement investments has gone down significantly since the beginning of the Biden administration. And what money I will get, the buying power of the dollar is falling, as the days go by. And he's just announced that he wants to run for re-election. And so, yeah, this could be the retirement plan. Me riding around on a bicycle with a small version of a mobile home on the back of it. Thank you very much, Booney Dog. Do appreciate the reminder that I'm going to end up sleeping on the streets when I retire.
We're going to have to tax those, Ray. Big.
Yes, well, yes, of course. It's amazing. We call it freedom. Yet we pay 30% of our income to the government to stay out of jail. 6:18 in the morning. Donna D is going to take care of news and headlines for us all morning long. Is there a full enough list of news that you're going to be able to do? Will we be able to fill the time obligations that we've got between now and say 8:30 or 40?
Some of them are really short, and some of them are really long.
Okay,
or repeats of last week's news.
Yeah. Well, that happens, especially over the course of the weekend. One of the very long pieces that you're going to look at this morning, if you haven't already checked Candid, is why GVB's board wants to get rid of Carl Gutierrez and Joseph McDonald. Now, it's only a couple of pages. One, 2, 3.
Sounds juicy. Drama.
It's only about 4 pages long. But when you print it out, the font, when you print out the Candid stories, the font is very, very small. So there's lots of words here and lots of different stories. It should actually begin, once upon a time in a GVB a long time ago, this is what happened. Carl Gutierrez and Jerry Perez come into it and take a look and say, well, that just doesn't look right. There's something hinky about this. And so they started pulling on strings and found a significant amount of hinkiness to the tune of a couple of $1 million and are now whistleblowers. That's what it says. They are now whistleblowers in the Gizmo, and there's a whole line of the story. I urge everybody to jump over to Candid at some point this morning and see what it is that they're saying about that. Now, the other thing, and the other part of the conversation is, the other part of the conversation is this Monte Mesa thing, right? So it was
Monte Mesa.
This is so weird because they were just on it. They were just traveling. Carl and Monte were just traveling
together.
They were in Japan eating sashimi and sushi and okonomiyaki and all of that kind of thing. And I don't know. And so Monte comes back and there's a board meeting, or I'm trying to figure out what the chronology is, chronographics version of this. There was apparently a board meeting, and they said, well, I'll tell you what, why don't we kind of suspend the governor and Joe B's position and put out an RFP for the new hotness, and we'll see what we get. Chances are likely we're just going to go back and have Carl where he is and Joe B where he's at. Joe B is my nickname for Joe McDonald. The Saga. Yeah. And before the day was over, I mean, this is in Friday's newspaper, right? It was all over Friday's news. Before the day was over, there was a press release from the Guam Visitors Bureau that said Monte was off the board. Didn't conduct the election in the correct way, I suppose. It's 6:21 in the morning, and live radio, live morning television. You never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to be knocking at the door. Who knocked at the door here? Tell him to. Is he still there?
Someone's knocking at the door. Get in there.
Come on.
Somebody's ringing the bell.
Yeah. It's always a pleasure when he swings by. Oh my God. It's our very close here, their personal friend, Jay Rojas.
JJ, happy birthday to you. JJ, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, what are you doing? Hey. First of of all, welcome back to Guam.
Thank you.
It's one of those weird occasions where you're on Guam and Shelly's not.
I know, right?
Yeah, no,
she's not. We're actually missing each other.
Yeah, she bagged. I think she went off for a GOP thing and should be with Kim and Shani right about now. I think. I don't know. I haven't gotten any notice from Newsom.
So she's doing party time.
Could be. Welcome home.
Oh well, thank you.
What are you doing?
Thank you. I'm actually here just for a couple of days. I leave tomorrow.
Wow.
It's been a whirlwind trip, to be honest with you. So I can fill you in.
Okay, so are you still doing the Fastback thing in Hawaii? You still associated with that?
No.
Could you feel the 10-foot pole pushing away from the Fastback question?
We walked away from that at the end of 2019. The state has some things that they have to work on. At that time, and they actually still do. So
couldn't figure out who was going to make their millions off of it.
Exactly. We are actually waiting for a couple of decisions to be made so that they can actually move forward. I'm positive that they're going to get it done.
Right.
But they're going to move forward somehow.
They're already starting to meet on it here. Just FYI.
That's every island and every country should, because they're actually supposed to be coordinating their delegation. Putting them together to be able to go from there.
But we're not 100% sure that it's a go show yet?
We're about the same. Hawaii is actually about the same rate that Guam was a year out.
Oh.
So, again, I give them full respect for where they're going to be. It's going to happen. It's going to happen well.
But it's not you.
It's not me.
Okay, it's not okay.
No.
Darn, there goes my one good connection.
No, we've been asked to assist the governor and the first lady in their portion of the planning, as well as the city and council. But that's it. Nothing official.
Wow. Okay. Is there any money behind that?
There's some money that was actually allocated.
How much do you have to give back to the governor and the first lady?
Who? Us? Nothing. This is total volunteer status for us.
Okay. So anyway, it's good to have you. Good to have you back. Only for a couple of days.
You too.
Have you had a chance to run into Mana?
No, not yet. So I actually just got in yesterday from Saipan.
Oh.
It's been a crazy tour. The other nonprofit that I work with is the Pacific Basin Development Council, established by the governors of Guam, CNMI, American Samoa, and Hawaii in 1982.
Okay.
So we're just now starting to actually rebuild it after COVID.
Okay, so it's 40 years later.
40. Well, no, it was an activity. It's just with COVID, we kind of put it on hold. However, we got a call from the U.S. Economic Development Administration, and the regional director for the Seattle region wanted to come out and visit the islands. So she asked us to help her with coordinating all of that. So we started April 17th with meetings with the governor in Hawaii, all of his team members, HTA, the Council of Native Hawaiian Advancement, some of the grants that they've made, Waimea Valley, et cetera. Then we hopped on a plane to American Samoa, met with the governor, lieutenant governor there, stayed there for 4 days of meetings, flew out here pretty much in a day.
Yeah.
And then met with Lieutenant Governor Gita, UOG, GCC, the Guam Trades Academy, then hopped on a flight to Saipan, met with the governor and lieutenant governor there, their teams, and then came.
Are there any good ideas floating around for development around here?
There's a lot of good ideas for floating around. There's a lot of money that's already given to the Pacific territories and jurisdictions. We just got to make sure that we can actually push them through to make them happen.
So one of the things that I would like to see is a very healthy, economically, financially Pacific Basin. So that would cut down on the number of the almost economic refugees that we are getting from other places where there just is nothing going on, and the only chance for getting a decent job, as indecent as it may look, might be to go find someplace around here, bussing tables and making burgers.
You know that we pretty much think alike on those lines, and that's exactly what the plan is. So now that we've made the rounds and actually have spoken with the governors and lieutenant governors and figure out what their priorities are, we're going to start doing that. So over the next few months, we're going to start coordinating with American Samoa, CNMI, Guam, and Hawaii, different topics of discussion to see where everyone is on ports.
Okay, so the deep conversation for early in the morning. You recognize that?
Oh yeah.
And the question that I've got in my head, and it's one of those, I'm going to roll my eyes at the answers. How often does the phrase climate change come up in some of these meetings?
It comes up, but actually, what's coming up a lot more is equity. So equity for those individuals of underserved communities, which would be everyone in the Pacific. So EDA's first initial priority and their main priority right now.
America hasn't screwed everybody over, did they?
They're pretty much, they're pretty much kind of trying to focus on those individuals and those groups of people that have been historically underlooked, and that includes Native Americans, Native Hawaiians, and then, of course, indigenous peoples of the Pacific.
Didn't they miss an opportunity in Hawaii recently to go and try to become Title 25?
Which
the Native Americans.
No. Well, that's a longer battle. It's a longer battle that would have to happen in D.C. to be able to happen.
All right,
Again, there's benefits.
There's
benefits, and then there's issues of that statute.
Yeah, because I'm not sure that the real Native Americans are wanting to expand the boundaries of their club.
But it's also that whether or not Native Hawaiians want to be seen as full Native Americans and treated like Native Americans in the eyes of the federal government.
But aren't there other set-asides and check marks that you can get economically?
There are. But,
Small Gita buddy, by the way.
But you're also looking at reservations. You're also looking at specific lands, specific areas that they can actually work in. So right now we have the entire state of Hawaii for Native Hawaiians. We have all of American Samoa for Samoans. And then we have.
Oh, so never mind the carve out.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry that you're not going to be around here much longer. I can't help but think that this would be a more fascinating conversation over a couple of rounds.
Absolutely.
All right. So what did you bring?
So
there's food. I see food.
Of course, today's Donna D's birthday, so I brought her a birthday cake.
Nice.
And then I brought presents for everybody.
Just FYI, you can go to a store and buy a birthday cake even if it's not your birthday. They don't check. I know a guy that runs American Bakery. You check IDs when people buy birthday cakes. He said no. So if you just want to celebrate and pretend it's your birthday, by all means, go out and get yourself a birthday cake anytime you want to. Wow, even more goodies from Wyatt.
Even more goodies.
Lee Hing, everything.
Ginger.
Yes, you said why is this all have Lee Hing? So I thought I'd actually bring you some ginger.
Wow.
It's good for your
some
stomach.
Lemon peel gummy bears.
And
Wow.
And of course the Mike and Ike sours.
Oh, those are sour.
Yes.
They're not so bad. Don't be a wimp about that. Eat some. Put a Mike and Ike on your birthday cake.
There you go.
Then it would be perfect. Cool. Well, dude, it's always great to see you. You know that.
Sorry to
give you a hug, but I got my 61-year-old back. So
I know, and I missed you at Jeff's Pirates Cove last night.
Brought
the whole group over there.
I didn't know that there was a meeting.
Sandra was awesome.
Oh,
I got to do a shout out to Sandra.
Sandra took a whole bunch of great pictures into social media. You might recognize some faces. I'll see you pretty soon, buddy.
All right.
There it is, my bro Jay Rojas. I'll tell Shelly you say hello, and Mana, Jay's here. Beep him. Maybe you guys some time to get together. Oh, she knows. She knows. It's a telepathic thing.
Good morning, everyone, and see you later.
See you later, buddy. 6:30 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. 888-825-5888 TALK is the telephone number. 797. Go ahead, Joe. 797-8255 for the meme machine. Donna, you about ready for news and headlines? We'll jump in and play the Cheers thing next. But first, here's Donna with a look at all the big stories here.
Joyful Henry and Jonas Kichiro have been arrested for attacking a 16-year-old at a bus stop in Manila. The victim told police the attack happened on March 16. Court documents state the pair repeatedly punched the victim and threatened to kill him with a knife before taking $15 from him. They were charged with robbery, assault, and theft of property. Meanwhile, Rear Admiral Benjamin Nicholson will be rotating out as commander of Joint Region Marianas after 2 years, and his replacement has been named. The Secretary of the Navy made the announcement on Friday that Rear Admiral Gregory Huffman will be assigned to the Indo-Pacific Command for Guam, the CNMI, the FSM, and Palau. And after 12 years of planning, Auntie Anne's Pretzels opened its doors at GPO on Saturday. Known for its variety of hand-baked pretzels and signature lemonade, Guam has become part of the international restaurant chain. And those are your local headlines on The Point. Now back to Ray.
Wait. Admiral Nicholson is on his way out?
Yeah.
They're going to have a hail and farewell? Did they give a date?
Didn't you mention that like last week?
No.
Oh, I guess I read it somewhere.
And
your voice was the one reading it in my head.
You read it somewhere in my voice. Okay, that's sweet. This is news to me. First time hearing about it here.
Like this year, sometime this year, somewhere.
Eventually.
Yeah.
So who's the new guy? That's what we got to do. We got to Google the new guy.
Colonel Jessup.
Gregory Huffman.
Gregory Huffman. Okay, all right.
Oh, man.
So, do me a favor. Well, it's I'm going to either bug you or
what's that guy's name? Joe, about it.
It's from Virginia, I think it was said.
Well, all of the Huffmans are from the Huffmans of Virginia. Yes. All right. Well, we'll see if we can find out about the new guy and see who's going to be in a rush to go kiss his butt. Is it going to be the legislature saying, okay, the last guy was all in with the governor, and we're going to want our own admirable this time. So we'll have the little hail and farewell and get to know you. We're going to have a couple of get to know yous on the phone this hour. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez is going to be on, and in the next hour of the program, in the studio, because it's big enough an issue that we are actually going to have in the studio with us attorney/Senator Tom Fisher.
We're slashing prices.
No, not slashing prices.
Okay.
He and Senator Tina Rosemunya Barnes have introduced Bill number 106-37, an act to provide a legislative submission for consideration by Guam voters at the next general election and to provide Guam voters the power to decide on reproductive rights. Now, pro-lifers just at Jump, are going, what the, who helped you write that? What is it? Reproductive rights? Where does it say that there is a right here in all of this? Is it an interesting story? And the Guam Daily Post, in their research, went to a couple of people on both sides of the reproductive rights issue. One of them is Dave Sublime, the other is Vanessa Williams, and neither one of them are crazy about this referendum idea on how to move forward with a conversation on the availability of abortion here on Guam.
Man.
There's going to be national,
huge.
even just on this, you'd think it would be harmless, right? Hey, let's put it before the people. That's what the Supreme Court was basically saying. We're going to send it back to the states and territories, and see, we got a Republican here and a Democrat saying we'll just give it back to the people in form of a referendum. And I think just getting to the public hearing on this is going to be knocked down, drag out. Trust me when I say.
Papa don't preach.
Right? Thank you, Madonna.
I'm keeping my baby.
634. And that's right. And in the video, they kept the baby. They
That's
didn't
what
kill
it was about, though, right?
Yes, exactly. Anyway, 6:34 in the morning. We'll clear the decks here and say hello to everybody on the other side of these.
With decades experience in Guam and the region, Take Care members have access to the largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. Membership also includes the high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers and the one-stop FHB Health Center and urgent care. Ask for Take Care. Call 671-647-3526. Go to takecareasia.com for more information. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
Fly even higher and get to your destination with the United Credit Card from First Hawaiian Bank. You can earn 40,000 miles with $2,000 worth of spending within the first 3 months. That's 40,000 reasons to get on board with the First Hawaiian Bank United Credit Card. It all starts with yes. Certain restrictions apply. To learn more about this offer, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or go to fhb.com/United.
KFC's $5 breakfast deals are the best and most affordable ways to start your day. The Colonel's Chicken and Rice Bowl, $5. Chicken fried steak, $5. Sausage, biscuit, and gravy, $5. And they all come with a fresh coffee. KFC $5 breakfast deals are served starting at 6 a.m. daily at your favorite KFC restaurant. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
6:35 in the morning. The things that we are uncovering about the new Admirable. Going to be an interesting conversation, including the fact that the man was a test pilot at one time in his life.
Top Gun.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I've asked Donna what was his call sign.
That's a mission.
Watch out
to find out.
It's 6:36. All right, quick look at what's happening on the roadways right now up north. See if there's anything going on. Now, nothing major. All the way Marine Corps Drive from the front end of Anderson Air Force Base all the way to Dededo is looking pretty good. Once you're in Dededo, a little bit of intersection traffic. We got stuff over at 1 and 3. A little bit of traffic over on the 1 and Marine Corps Drive and Micronesia Mall. That is 16 to 8, 10 and 16. They're looking pretty good right now. Cherry all the way through Route 10, Route 4 into town. downtown. Not so bad until you get up around Ordot, Sinahanya. A little bit of congestion up there. Route 8 from 8, 10, and 16 all the way into the downtown Agutnia area is looking sweet. Don't see anything on Marine Corps Drive all the way down to Big Navy and Sumai. Maybe a touch of traffic over at the intersection over at Adelup, where the governor's office is, and that new coffee grinder place. Did you see the sign?
Yeah.
There's apparently some kind of coffee roasting grinding place at the corner of over at Adelup. So you get the gas station over here, and then what used to be a Bank of Guam back in the day, and it looks like they've done some reconstruction and renovations in there, and they've got this beautiful stainless steel sign that I forgot what it says, but it's something about coffee beans. So we got a new place.
So it's just a...
No, I'm sure. I mean, nobody goes through
I'm
that
gonna
kind
go check.
of... Yeah,
Let me go
no,
check.
you go check later. But I don't think it's just...
I'm going to check now.
Like,
Bye-bye.
can you imagine, like, all of a sudden, Adelup doesn't smell like the governor's office anymore? It would smell like roasted coffee.
That's a nice smell.
I like it. 6:37 in the Ray Gibson Show. More on the way.
Join us on May 12th as we host our annual PBS Guam Pledge Drive. Tune in and show your support for quality, educational, and entertaining programming. Your contributions help us continue to bring you thought-provoking documentaries, captivating cultural programs, and engaging children's shows. So tune in to PBS Guam Friday, May 12th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. and pledge your support to help us keep Guam enriched, inspired, and entertained. Viva!
Join us at Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro and see why they've been crowned Guam's best Chamorro food restaurant for 9 consecutive years. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus tenactac, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet burgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Agutnia location from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch, 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. for dinner, or 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. for their famous Sunday brunch.
All right. I'll get to it. The Frontier season is over officially. Get you some new details before too much longer. An opportunity to go and check out some brand new rides that they've added to the used car lot and brand new rides that they've put on the brand new ride lot, including the Versa, the Sentra, the Rogue, and the Kicks. Great gas mileage on all of these things. It got safety features that are built into the DNA of the vehicle, and very, very cool, impressive designs that they have come up with for car year 2023. I urge you to test drive today one of the incredible rides over at Nissan, and you can do that by visiting NissanGuam.com.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
20 away from 7 o'clock in the morning, and there it is. Thank you very much, Don, for sending this over. You can apparently go to the United States Navy, where they've got biographies of some of the people that are actually serving in the service of the best Navy in the whole wide world, the U.S. Navy. And here's the bio on the new guy that's coming in, Rear Admiral Gregory Huffman, Commander, Carrier Strike Group 12. I think that's where he's at now.
They're always coming from the rear.
Do you like my commander? Do you like my tutu commander? Rear Admiral Gregory C. Huffman, son of a career naval officer, 89 grad of the U.S. Naval Academy. Listen to this guy. Learned a Master of Arts in History from University of Maryland, a Master of Science in Aviation Systems from the University of Tennessee. This is the kind of guy. This is the kind of guy. You go, hey, what time is it? And he says, well, let me tell you how to make a watch. This is what we're going to do. You get some, put some tension on a spring.
He sounds interesting.
His sea duty flying assignments include a junior officer tour with the Rampagers of Strike Fighter Squadron 83 out of Cecil Field, Florida. Department head with the Sunliners of the VFA 81 Oceania, and commander of the VFA 27, the Royal Maces out of Atsugi, Japan. Completed multiple deployments aboard the USS Saratoga, the Enterprise, the GW, and the USS Kitty Hawk. Flew combat missions over Bosnia, Kosovo, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Okay, sir.
Yeah, we got us a Top Gun here, man.
I'm sorry I said your call sign was Washout. What? No, because remember the movie Hot Shots? Didn't they have a guy in there? There was two of them.
Washout.
Great call says it was Washout, and then the other one was Dead Meat.
That's how Goose died, man.
I'll bet you they make them watch. I'll bet you when you're a naval aviator like this guy, I bet you the Officer and a Gentleman, Top Gun Maverick,
Call
and Hot Shots.
He's got that nuclear something training.
Yeah. Does he have some of that as well?
Yeah.
So yeah. And you like his ears? You think his ears are nice?
I think his ears are friendly.
Donna T says, our new admiral has friendly ears.
He's got those eyes.
I hope he does. I hope he manages to avoid embroiling himself in controversy between the governor's office and the legislature, unlike the last guy or the present guy. Figure it out. 19 away from the top of the hour, and time to say good morning to these folks here.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name. You want to go where people know people are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
Oh, nice. Cuddling up with these guys in the early morning. The very first one, Post Canteen, our VFW Gigo Connect online here this morning. Good to have you. And the question, did we get a winner in the Queen of Hearts jackpot on Friday night when my back wasn't hurting yet? No, we'll check. Tony and Annette and Pinko Ada, we have not heard the last of Tony Ada. Beautiful Jane Naut is in there. Henry Manglotnia, Hofford, Zoe Kitsutsu, JB, St. Nicholas, and Edita Camarillo, Lonnie Solis, off a day to Lynn and Vince Borja Polino. Always nice to see you guys. Mike Grace Bloss is gone surfing. Henry and Jerome McDonald says Buenos Dias, Ray and Donna D, Real Joe, Jerry Roberts. Enjoy your Monday. Gonna strong like Eric Chong online. Let me see. Felix Bumba. Peter J. Santos says the point was 4 minutes late. Real
Peter
Joe.
Peter Santos.
Dropping due 20. Actually, Peter, I plead guilty. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Real Joe is not in charge of pushing the buttons that gets us online. That's my job.
Oh, yeah.
And I was busy trying to come up with something pithy to title our program with, and the pithiness I arose to was today's theme is something about it's only the first and I'm already bushed. May it's already busy. It's already busy. I'm gonna be at the mall on Saturday giving a car away. Think a truck. I'm going to be then next week, the week after that is let me see, Miami's baccalaureate, then my birthday, then graduation. Obviously, there can be graduation and baccalaureate and whatever dinners and things like that.
God, restaurants are going to be packed everywhere, man.
And Mother's Day is coming up. And Mother's Day is coming up.
Reservations.
It may already be too late. It may already be too late. You might have to bring your own champagne as well.
Okay, all right.
So let's start working on it. Jason at Military Auto Source Guam. Speaking of mothers, beautiful mom, Belen Sidell is online with us here this morning. There's beautiful Sarita Garin, also a hot mom, on the program here this morning. It almost sounds inappropriate when I say it, doesn't it? Okay, let me see. Henry Manglotnia's there. Perlita Delamar Garcia. Gemma Bustamante.
Gemma.
And Greg Baz Knight is online. We see Marla Carbonzito Castro, Buenos and Hafade to Michael Jr. Leguatnia. Morning stretch from Anderson Air Force Base and Camp Blas. Good to see you there, my brother. Vince Delgado's hanging out with us. So is Keenan McCausland, Dale Audette, and the original Burger King, Rudy Rodolfo. 34
morning, Your
years.
Highness.
It's May. Wednesdays in May. I love the Whopper, just FYI. John Paul, St. Nicholas, Jesse Nanetti, Aurelio Pareda, Buenos and Hafade to Francis Duffy, and let me see, Valerie S.A. Untalan says, good morning, The Point family. It's been 2 weeks. So great to hear your voices and ready for your comments, says Val, to which Sarita responds, good morning, babe. And then the kissy, winky emoji. We missed you yesterday.
Baby.
See, again, it sounds kind of, inappropriate when I say that. Tom Tahazi is online. Hoffa Buenos and Hoffa Day to Carlene Harker. Brad Wood, good morning.
Morning, Wood. Morning.
EOD Kaboom. Almost with the same inflections in our voices. EOD Kaboom. Don't even need to do the setup anymore. You just say it in your head. Hot Wives. Nate Horn and Sheila Morgan. Hey, nice to see you there, Sheila. Happy have a great show. I think we will. There's Patty Santiago and Army Lynn is online this morning. I had a chance to see Army Lynn balloon smuggling on Friday night. It's true. Oliver Malakas is there. Anna Marie. No jackpot winner Friday, says VFW.
Of course not.
Jackpot's at $1,500, almost $2,000. Next drawing Friday at 7. Dan Rosal is there. Ron Castro, our favorite guy artist online. Mike Schneip, Scott K. Armstrong, Alex Afflugui, Cousin Troy. Lana, you troublemaker.
Hey, morning, Chelu.
Troublemaker. My God, you know, just
Cassie boy.
Did you
Spill the tea.
Did you print the whole report on the 4 pages? It sure looks like it. There are highlights I'm familiar with. I'm told there exists at the Attorney General's office this report. It's fairly thick, and it names names and talks about matters that may be on the wrong side.
Well, you said too much already, Ray.
Of appropriate. Oh, you got to read the thing. You got to read the thing. It's like, hey, you know, my chick could use one of these fancy cards that you know, gets her discounts on airplane rides and, you know, free trips to the what do you call it, the lounges and all of that. And it's like, it's okay, bro. I got you covered here. Let me see. Jay Rojas is in there. Lou Mendiola, Joe Dizon, Ismael Velez. The new admiral has no problem firing people for loss of confidence in them. That's good. I like that. Let me see. Jose Ted Pahago, Lou Mendiola, Leslie St. Nicholas, Mike Grace Blas, J-Lo Johnson. J-Lo? J-Lo Johnson from Las Vegas is in the program.
Real J-Lo?
That's what it says. Impressive resume, but can he tell a tyrannical governor to step off? You guys haven't even met him. You didn't even meet the guy yet, and you're already like, hey, we don't like her. Just
We're getting chummy, man.
can we shop on base? How about I'll just give you a list of stuff we want? I need a new washing machine. I need a big bag of dog food and a big ass TV. What do you say, Admiral? Can you get it for me? let the guy move in first, dudes. Who else is there? Matt Galendez, Mike and Grace. Okay, Jimenez Hessa. Good morning. Have a great first day of May. Working on it for sure. 6:48 on the Ray Gibson Show. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez, is he getting close to a phone? Do you know?
I hope so.
You might want to buzz him. You might want to buzz him in and see what's going on. It's all right. I've got stuff to talk about. Whether he makes it into the program or not. As I said, kind of interesting. On Friday, we're reading up on stories over at the and I even called him and said, this is one of those stories in the Friday newspaper made me go, what the hell? And so we got Uncle Carl on the telephone line, and he was how do I say this? The guy was on fire. Classic Governor Gutierrez. You could almost hear in the background. You could almost hear the axe going against the grinder, getting sharpened here, and now we've got the big reveal, I suppose. That's how I'm going to say it. The big reveal, which is this story on Candid News. If you haven't read it this morning, it's worth the 5 minutes it's going to take to get from the top to the bottom. See how much time I can save you. But I do want to kind of go over the steps that were taken, maybe a little bit more of a chronology on what happened in Monte Mesa. Didn't you guys just come back from a trip? Maybe he could have told you while you were riding that bus that you sent me a picture of that he was going to look at temporarily. I don't even know what to call that, where they were going to suspend you and find a replacement, but they were pretty sure they weren't, so we're going to leave you there, just kind of going through the academics of it. Good morning, Gov.
Good morning, Greg. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, Monty and I had a good working relationship. We went there and promoted Guam, but prior to him being put on the board, they required actual directors to elect him to be the 12th member. Well, there was not 12 members yet. There were only 9. So Joe McDonald, he knows what he's talking about, and told the board that you have to wait till you have 11 directors before you can hire or elect a 12th. They didn't care. They said, well, we'll just put him in now, and if the Attorney General says he is not valid, then we'll just go back and re-ratify it. In the meantime, there a lot of stuff happened that became void because of that kind of action. But we went there, and we worked very well together. And when the Attorney General finally came out with his opinion, he said that you have to have 11 members to elect a 12. Right. Makes sense, even at over at San Vicente School.
Well, in my mind, that is a little bit lopsided. So they only had 9. Why didn't they elect him the 10th member and then go searching for another 2?
No, the law says you can have a 12th member if 11 people got together, 11 directors get together. It's the law.
Okay, but
he
couldn't have been the 10th.
No, he cannot. He couldn't be the 10th. He was slated to be the 12th. I guess in their putting together their organization before the election over at the general membership, where only one company, PHR, had enough votes to then deal. They were the ones that really elected all the four.
Right.
By the number of votes they had. And I guess the condition was that when the four gets in, they're going to put Monty in there because Monty also supported the four.
All right, so they're now back to just 9 members of the board, but more importantly now, and then pick it up where the story leads us. This morning, Candid has reported this is why GVB's board wants to get rid of Carl Gutierrez and Joseph McDonald, and it basically paraphrases and summarizes, I think, to a great degree, the paperwork that the materials that comprise the business risk report.
It did, and I was really pleasantly surprised last night when that thing came out. Somebody had sent it to me, but I knew that Troy had requested under FOIA for certain information, and the staff accommodated them. Chris Lizama was in charge of contracts, accommodated them, and they sat there for a couple of hours and went through the whole thing again. So I didn't realize that he was going to put a report like that together, which was 100% right on the mark. And I'm just surprised that nobody was really picking up on that report is out on the website. Reporters could pick it up and follow up stories like that, but the one reporter that always follows up with GVB is just looking for dirt at GVB against me and Jerry, and I kind of got tired of that, right? So but maybe this is something now that she could pick up and follow through, because I think there's this relationship with all these people that are also in the media that's causing some of these problems that think they're untouchable.
The names are named, and there are certain activities that are referred to in this article and in the BRCC Business Risk Report that is also available or should be available for certain members of the 37th Guam Legislature who have been trying to sort things out between GVB management and the boards, and maybe now here they'll be able to see what exactly the hesitancy is with the board to continue to work with you and I would say Jerry Paris, who is also a part of the investigation.
Yes, well, let me just say again so I can give you some context here. When Senator Jesse Lujan FOIA'd the investigation report, it had not been out to the public. And then he got that, and I was asked by the senators at the public hearing to please post it online. And we did. That's when things started moving forward, right? And then we had a public hearing shortly thereafter, and the chairman, George Chu, and I were at the legislature. And, George Chu wanted to move on, right? Don't look back. And he said that he liked the report. It was well done. But let's just really leave it with the AG and the OPA, and let's move forward. And I said, yes, I associate myself with those comments. Let's move forward. But I guess his board of the members are not listening to him. They just want to go back and get me out of there so that no more looking into the misdeeds of those miscreants that they're still sitting there. I don't believe Sonny should be sitting there anymore, neither Milton. They're part of the bulk of what had gone on.
The accusations that have been accusations highlighted in the BRCC report and through the conversation, the article on this morning's Candid. You mentioned, and I recall that it is at the Attorney General's office in the Office of Public Accountability. What, if anything, has happened to the investigation? Have they conducted anything, or are they just letting this sleeping dog lie as well?
No, the investigation from the AG's office started. We were interviewed. Jerry was interviewed, and other people were interviewed. So, they're just moving forward, I guess, trying to do other things that jump in front of them, like the Eagles field and all that stuff. So they can't put it on the backslide. But yes, I am, and DJ, I think is going to look at his schedule and see whether there's any statutes of limitation that might be overcome, if they don't do it.
Are you officially, is your status now officially that of a whistleblower? Do you enjoy protections now from what seems to be a board working in animus towards you?
Well, I'm going to make it more formalized. I feel I am, and I'm drafting a letter right now, or I asked the legal counsel to draft a letter to the chairman, informing them that I'm being harassed right now at every turn. They want to get rid of me. And so I am now going to give some proof that I am being targeted and as a whistleblower, and they want me out of there.
You know,
They can't stop. Every move Mary wrote, all she wants is to find out where are those forms so I can rate Uncle Carl. Uncle Carl, you haven't been here long enough unless you want to read the newspapers. But if I were you and you want to rate me, listen to Ray.
6:56 in the morning. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez, always a delight talking with you. And now that we have started off the morning with you, I'm wondering who's going to be out at GVB this afternoon. Who's going to be which board member is going to be out this afternoon? Because that's the way it worked. I talked to you Friday morning before lunch. Friday afternoon, Monty's out.
Yeah, well, we found out later that from the Attorney General, he has sent over his legal opinion. But hopefully this week and the next couple of days that Robert Hoffman, Mayor Hoffman, would be confirmed. He's on the third reading file, I believe, in the legislature. So that'll be another board member coming in.
This is going to be an exciting season to watch what's going on over at the Guam Visitors Bureau, 6:57 in the morning. From my perspective and my perch, I spent some time on the beach yesterday looking at a number of beautiful South Korean visitors and Japanese visitors, starting to hear more of that language. So I know you guys are hard at work and maybe could do more of that kind of the real job from GVB if maybe you had a little bit more support.
We have some really big things going on. I'll be leaving on Wednesday with the Korea Marketing Group. And Mr. Ho, the chairman of Marketing Committee of the GVB. We're going to go there and we're going to put together a relationship with Jeju Airlines, and then in the following 2 weeks, an MOU with Lotte, the entire Lotte corporation, that they really want to put some attention into Guam, even buying property so they can really establish themselves even further here. So those things are happening. That like Lion Travel from Taiwan, if they're going to set up shop here, they're the biggest travel agency in Taiwan. And incidentally, it was announced by George Chu at the last meeting that now Milton Morinaga is a consultant for Lion Travel. So tell me about conflicts of interest.
There's something about it. It's always nice. It's just, here's a bone. Troy, did you hear what he said? Maybe that's the substance for tomorrow's article. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez hugging a kiss to Auntie Jerry. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
888-8255, 888-TALK. Where'd the guy go? Manu? Oh, did you tell him to call back next hour? Yeah, because it's close enough. About a minute and a half between now and 7 o'clock in the morning. Fox News Live is coming your way. On the other side of that, Donna D is going to take care of news and headlines. Jerry Roberts is going to be bringing you the extra point. Again, all the stuff that we were talking about and some very, very interesting points of fact has been pointed out in the BRCC available at the Candid website. I think that's going to be driving some conversation that goes on virtually everywhere around here. That's going to be fun to watch. And what did he say about conflicts there at the end? Coming up in the next hour as well, we've got attorney Tom Fisher in the studio. He's going to be talking about bill number 106-37. Now, it would provide the opportunity for voters on Guam to determine where we are headed with regards to abortion, and that is going to be the crux of a conversation that we're going to be having here before too much longer. In the meantime, and in between time, the radio stations KUSG Agutya 93.3. This is Pika's Best. We are The Point. Stand by for Fox News in seconds.
A big reward now being offered. I'm Joe Chiro, Fox News. Authorities in Texas have announced a combined reward of $80,000 for the suspect accused of killing 5 people in the town of Cleveland late Friday night, including an 8-year-old boy. San Jacinto County Sheriff Greg Capers.
My heart is with this 8-year-old little boy. I don't care if he was here legally. I don't care if he was here illegally. He was in my county. 5 people died in my county, and that is where my heart is.
Investigators say they still have 0 leads in the whereabouts of Francisco Oropeza, but are hoping someone will come forward for the reward. A COVID-era restriction that prevents entry across the southern border expires in less than 2 weeks.
DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says once Title 42 expires May 11th, America will follow current laws since there is no comprehensive immigration reform. On NBC's Meet the Press, he says border agents will have 3 days before before transferring an unaccompanied child to Health and Human Services care. It's then up to that agency
to identify a relative, a sponsor in the United States to whom they can transfer care of that child.
Many border towns and some major cities that have been sent busloads of migrants are concerned Title 42 expiring will mean an increased flow of people to their communities.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Sudan's army and its rival paramilitary say they will extend a humanitarian ceasefire of further 72 hours. The decision follows international pressure to allow the safe passage of civilians and aid, but the shaky truce has not so far stopped the clashes. America is listening to Fox News.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they will continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $4,100 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 671-475-4545, Upper Tumon 671-647-5626, or in Dededo 671-633-4473.
Burger King's new spicy chicken fries are now available for a limited time only. All white meat chicken fries, taken up a notch with spicy flavor and heat added to the breading. Your choice of the classic chicken fries or the new spicy chicken fries. Perfect for dipping in any of our delicious sauces. Add a side of mozzarella sticks and a refreshing Coca-Cola. Thank you, Guam, for 34 years. BK Tumon Bay, Hagåtña, Mike Venetia Mall, and the airport. You rule.
Is the U.S. in for an uptick of ticks this year? Fox's Jill Nato has the story.
Much of the U.S. saw a mild winter, and bug experts say that could mean more deer ticks and a wider spread of Lyme disease. In Connecticut, there's been a drastic increase already. 700 of the bugs have been sent into the state for testing this year at a time when they usually only see about 200. Ohio's also seen a rise in ticks. Deer ticks are often found in woods, but these things go anywhere deer go, so they can turn up anywhere. If you find one on you, the CDC says use tweezers to grab it and pull it straight up. You don't want any bits of its mouth left in your skin. Then clean the bitten area with alcohol or soap and water. Jill Nato, Fox News.
A dog from Georgia is being reunited with its owner, and you won't believe how improbable that is. Fox's Roger Stern explains.
6 years after he disappeared, Chief has finally turned up about 450 miles from home in West Virginia. The pit bull went missing in 2017. Owner Tara Hill is telling an Atlanta TV station, "I honestly thought I would never see him again." But this year, Chief was spotted twice. First by rangers with the Army Corps of Engineers, who took him in, but then he escaped. Then someone else picked him up, and this time Chief is safe and sound. A shelter official saying, "If I think about my dog missing that long, it makes me want to cry." Roger Stern, Fox News.
The Alaska Earthquake Center hasn't yet commented on an earthquake that didn't happen. The center reported a 6.2 magnitude earthquake yesterday and later posted a note saying this event has been deleted after review by a seismologist. The center has not returned phone or email messages left by the Associated Press. I'm Joe Chiro, Fox News.
JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, traffic signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
Hafaday, this is Severina. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Your big business dreams mean you should be using the best tools. At Docomo Pacific, you get the best technology at the best value. Visit business.docomopacific.com to get an instant quote. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
With decades experience in Guam and the region, Take Care members have access to the largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. Membership also includes the high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers and the one-stop FHB Health Center and urgent care. Ask for Take Care. Call 671-647-3526. Go to takecareasia.com for more information. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
Half a day at 7:06. I'm Donna De Jesus. Here's a look at your local news on The Point. A woman was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison for dealing drugs. Bhavna Kumari Damai appeared in district court on Thursday to be sentenced for the charge of conspiracy to distribute 50 or more grams of meth. She was indicted in 2020 after she was in a car crash, and it was discovered that she had almost 2 pounds of 100% pure meth, 56 morphine tablets, and $32,500 in cash. Damai admitted she entered into a 1.5-year-long conspiracy to deal the meth. She admitted that the cash that was found came from drug sales. A further search of her residence resulted in authorities finding scales, a drug ledger, and a whiteboard with drug distribution written on it. She pleaded guilty in March of 2021. Details of the case remain under seal. Damai is known as a certified dog groomer and stylist on Guam. Meanwhile, many GovGuam employees who expected their 22% raise in last Friday's paycheck were puzzled to find that the extra money was not included. The governor's communications director, Crystal Paco San Agustin, confirms line agencies were paid but was unable to speak to the delay in pay for others still waiting. GDOE employees were among those who didn't receive their raises on Friday. Acting Superintendent Judy Wanpat says by law, DOA has to turn in 2 documents to the legislature. She says, we are ready, but GDOE has not received allotment to release payment. Education Oversight Chairman Senator Chris Barnett shared on social media that he spoke with Wanpat, who told him that if GDOE were to pay out the 22%, the checks would bounce. Barnett says there's an enactment clause in the law that requires the governor to submit reports to the legislature detailing the payout plans. He adds that it doesn't make sense to pay out other agencies but hold GDOE hostage. If you give it to one, you give it to all. More news after this.
For all your real estate needs, call the professionals at Hoffaday Realty. Jody, Saran, Libby, and Lolita, and they'll take care of you on every step of the real estate process. No worries. Just contact Hoffaday Realty at 588-4232 or 588-HOFFA or email them at hoffadayrealty@gmail.com. They're at 426 Challenge San Antonio, Suite 204 in Tamuning. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 4. Hoffaday Realty for all your real estate needs.
The AG's office is investigating the legality of retroactive pay raises for some cabinet members and Adelup staffers. Senator Frank Blas Jr. wrote a letter to the governor on Thursday, noting that a previous administration implemented retroactive pay raises that were later declared illegal, and asked the governor to initiate actions to correct this impropriety. Public Auditor B.J. Cruz says the OPA has not received or reviewed any documents, but pointed to the results of a 2016 audit of retroactive pay adjustments to offset confirmed illegal payments at Adelup in 2014 during Governor Eddie Calvo's term. Governor Lulian Guerrero requested a 19% base pay adjustment for BBMR Director Lester Carlson and DOA Director Ed Byrne in February. The governor's chief of staff and other Adelup staffers also got base pay adjustments of up to $15,000 a year with a retroactive effective date of January 1. But Blas says that Guam law prohibits retroactive pay increases. Adelup on April 25 issued a statement defending the pay adjustments, saying results warrant raises and results speak louder than rhetoric. And with the shortage of practicing doctors on the island, the Guam Board of Medical Examiners is seeking guidance from the Federation of State Medical Boards to address the issue of granting licenses to international doctors who seek to practice on Guam but have not practiced in the U.S. for some years. The GBME reviewed applications for licensing from several doctors who have been practicing in the Philippines, but the question is the quality of health services provided and whether they are up to the same standards. The shortage is at the top of the board's priority priority list as GRMC looks to hire these professionals. Several members of the board are set to meet with the FSMB at the beginning of this month to discuss the issues and obtain professional input from the other boards across the nation. And those are your top stories. Back to Ray with weather.
All right, let me see what I can scare up for you weather-wise. 7:11 in the morning. I've got partly sunny today. Highs near 86 degrees. Winds east 11 to 16 miles an hour. There's mostly cloudy skies this evening with, what have we got here? Overnight lows of about 79 degrees. Winds east about 9 to 16 miles an hour. About the perfect temperature and breeze conditions to leave the windows open. Save yourself some money on the electric bill. Although today is the 1st of May, and remember what Simon said last week?
Free power?
Free electricity for everybody. Well, actually, only Tauruses.
Oh,
Sorry,
man.
only people that are born under the sign of the Taurus, like myself, will be getting free electricity. What the hell? Everybody else getting the pay raise except GDOE employees. Nice going. He had one job. What the hell? Mostly sunny in the forecast for this tomorrow with daytime highs near 86 degrees, and about the same thing for Wednesday. With the heat index, it'll feel like 92 degrees. Sunset tonight at 6:36. Sunrise this morning coming earlier and earlier, 6 a.m. straight up for sunrise. So that's how we're starting the month of May. 7:12. Be right back. In celebration of our 34th anniversary on Guam, BK Melts are now available. Our classic melt features 2 flame-grilled Whopper Junior patties, a quarter pound, melty American cheese, caramelized onions, and stacker sauce on 2 slices of toasted bread. BK Melts are also available in a spicy and bacony variation made for our super fans. Top off your meal with French fries or onion rings and a refreshing Sprite. Thank you, Guam, for 34 years. BK Tumon Bay, Agutya, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. You rule. Absolutely. 7:13. Ray Gibson Show brought to you by APL American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. And Kim and Ron over at Security Title, buying, selling, leasing, whatever. These are the people that you want in your corner when you start hitting the real estate. Careful, because it can hit back. Get them in your corner and on your side. Kim and Ron at Security Title.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-8255.
7:13. And, the universe speaks to me in memes. And this was a meme that I found while I was otherwise trying to recover Saturday afternoon from one of those, what you gotta be kidding moments. I've been known, I don't have the strongest back. Lower back has always been one of those very tender things.
Yeah, of course.
So I'll jump up and down and do all the manly things that I need to do. But every once in a while, and in the most unexpected times, I remember I got a spasm in my back once putting my socks on. Yeah. Usually I take that as a sign from God that it's time for me to start working out, or doing something productive with in terms of my health. But I got a spasm on Saturday afternoon from sitting down after I was actually on the treadmill. I was actually exercising. Yeah, tweak. Yeah. But there's tweak. That word does not sum up all of that one instant of pain. And the realization in that one instant of pain that I can write off virtually all of the activities that I had planned for this week, unless I want to be popping Tylenols about every 20 minutes. So the world speaks to me in memes while I'm recovering from that tweak in my back. I found this meme. It's a picture of a T-shirt that says "Beer, broads, and back pain. Be a man. Be a man." It says. And, as it turns out, that was also likewise incorporated into my weekend plans.
Chiropractor, Ray?
I generally don't chiropractor.
You don't? Do you acupuncture, Ray?
I do not acupuncture at all. I've never been into that. Now, I've chiropractored in past. I have done it in the past.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've
just checking. Man.
It was always among my favorite things. I'm not saying that it doesn't work, but it was always one of my favorite things. I like to go in there and quote get adjusted, and by adjusted I mean when they do that thing where they tweak your neck.
It's like bubble wrap.
Yeah. Yes. And the little things they pop in your neck, and you're going, wow, that was. Have I ever been closer to death than I was at that moment?
Head like this.
And then there's
snap
the
your
pulling.
neck, man.
Yeah. Apparently that's
Steven Seagal.
I did talk to a doctor about that once upon a time. He said, "Can you kill a man like they do in the movies where they just kind of rip his head?" And the doctor said, "Ray, stop watching movies, Ray. Not everything that you see on the screen."
You said goodbye to everybody before you went to the chiropractor.
Now what we tell you here in this program, that's reality. That's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. 7:16 in the morning, and speaking of truth, about time for us to jump in and see what the heck happened in the markets real quick before we get into everything else. Looked like a good day for virtually all of the markets. S&P 500 reported plus 34 points. There's some earnings there for somebody. 34 points to close at 41.69. NASDAQ Saturday morning closed at 84 points in the green at 12,226. Dow Jones Industrial Average likewise up 272 points at 34,098. FTSE is up by 38. The Nikkei picked up almost 400 points. Hang Seng up by about 55, and the Shanghai Index picked up almost 40. VIX is down by 1 1/4, and the DAX 121 points in the green. Big winner looked like in terms of percentages. Let me see. In terms of percentages, it might be the Nikkei. Looks like up by 0.8. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Okay, I think I'll go with that one here this morning and see how these guys did. Intel, Walt Disney, Home Depot, Caterpillar, and American Express round out their top 5. Bottom 5, Verizon, Procter & Gamble, Amgen, Walmart, and International Business Machines. On the commodities, if you're buying oil, we all buy oil one way or the other. $76.78 for a barrel of West Texas crude. That's up from $74 where it ended on last Friday. Tapis crude on Friday was $82.50. Keep that number in your day. $82.50. And the number this morning for Tapis is $80.15. Now you're going, wow, it's down by a couple of bucks. That's awesome. Does it get better? Well, it kind of did over the weekend. It actually dropped to a low of about $79.76, but rose back up to $80.15. Going to Japan sometime soon. The yen's at 136.15. When I get to the Philippines, the peso rate should be pretty close to what it is now, 55.48 pesos to my greenback. And if you're going to South Korea for something, the won is at 1338.16. So that's where those dollars and cents are headed. Real Joe, what's the Bitcoin number?
29,453. It's up about $200.
And gold still where it was on Friday, $1,991. If you're going to be using that to hedge one way or the other against whatever it is this weird future is going to be bringing. 888-8255, 888-TALK. And what do we got here over in some of the weekend news? We got the governors. I don't know if you noticed. Did you hear the shriek yesterday?
Is she still gone?
11:59:59. You can almost hear it. That was when the deadline the Admiral Bull Nicholson put in place.
Oh, yeah.
The deadline for us to sign off.
Mister, I don't wait around.
So it's no more Lalo. No more Lalo. And maybe that was the cry that we heard from Adelup late last night as the day changed hands and the deadline had elapsed. They'd sent out earlier in the day a press release. The 37th Guam starts off with pointer fingering. Isn't that amazing? Just starts right off. It didn't even, the Governor Lula, this is the 37th Guam legislature has made it clear they do not support Governor Lulian Guerrero's plan to build a hospital and medical complex at Eagles Field. Duh. Really? Unfortunately, the island of Guam has lost out on a beneficial opportunity to lease over 100 acres of federal property for the use of the people of Guam. Governor Leon Guerrero will not request an extension of the deadline to sign the lease, which expires April 30th. Based on numerous comments made by lawmakers, both in the media, thank you very much. I'll take blame for giving as many of them a platform as I could. Wow. And on session floor, it's obvious that any further attempts to lease the Eagles Field property would be fruitless. We thank our partners at Joint Region Marianas and the Department of the Navy for attempting to make good on a promise to pledge federal property for the construction of a medical campus for our island. Well, promised to pledge. They wanted to lease
pat
it
each
to
other
us.
on the back. It didn't go through.
Now
Let's
that the
still
offer,
do it.
I was going to say, the offer of federal assistance has been rejected by the Guam legislature. We expect the Department of the Navy to resume its plans to develop the property for military operations. Actually, they changed their mind. It's a dog park. Going to make a dog park.
Sweet.
Yeah. Although the lease
That's what we need.
offer is expiring, I remain committed to building a medical complex to ensure the people of Guam have the highest quality health care available, said Governor Leon Guerrero. To which I asked the question, okay, until we do that, can we fix the one that we have? There's plenty of in the millions of dollars that you wanted to use for No Mo Lalo. And since it ain't going to be going to Lalo, can we send it over to Guam Memorial Hospital and send a few bucks over to the airport so they can fix the air conditioner? What's the other story? $788,000 to repair the air conditioning.
That's an expensive kuya, Ray.
That is, it will come in stages, my brother. It's going to be an amazing process to watch. Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point coming up, but Mr. Galati's been trying to get on the air this morning, and I'm trying to get people on the air. Good morning, Duke.
Off a day, Ray.
Off a day.
Just to touch real quick basis, I heard Uncle Caro on, and you know what? He's doing a real good job. I'm glad he's unveiling all these underground secrets. You know, it had to take one guy to really go through that and find all that underground secrets, man. I'm just happy that he's there.
Well, a lot of it, though, was kind of hiding in plain sight. You know, I remember when he first got to GVB, and he's asked me, he says, did you know about this? Did you know about that? And I was, well, you know, I've heard of those kinds of things. But you know, it always seemed like, well, that's the way they've done it there all of these years.
Yeah, you know, and then, you know, if you look at it, they're trying to get him out. Come on. You can see what he's doing. He's unveiling all these things that's been going on for many, many years. I'm glad it's out, and they need to try to take that boards all out and put new ones in. Another thing is I'm glad that they didn't sign that property there to build a hospital. We don't need that. Why are we going to pay the federal government when they're the ones that came here in the beginning to take the things away? So it doesn't make sense, and I'm glad that the senators didn't pull through that. And you know, yeah, let's invest in GMH.
Exactly.
Let's get that hospital back up on track, because I can tell you right now we could do that. We can get that hospital back up. That the government just needs to invest in it. And the problem with the government is when they invest, they buy one thing today, tomorrow they won't even do anything after it.
Well, go Southern High. Take a look at that.
You know,
you remember when that was when they unveiled that? They did the ribbon cutting on that state-of-the-art facility, and it had everything. We had this beautiful field in there. We had a nice track that they built up there, and they had this performing arts center on the inside. It was absolutely gorgeous. Got a chance to use everything maybe once, and then that was it. Remember the Olympic swimming pool?
That they only used that when they had that Olympic that came out here, I guess. But it all boils down to the government can't even operate their own system. They're you know, Ray, it is so embarrassing for people to come out here and then go to GMH when they're sick and just walk into GMH's door. You compare that with GRMC. I'd rather go to GRMC, man, and know that the things that are there are new.
They are your healthcare partner. Sorry, I had to throw that in. I got to do this. When you said it, I got to throw on the logo phrase, man. That is,
yeah.
It just saved me.
I would go to GMH. I still go to GMH. Don't get me wrong. But when I get in there, man, you know, I had a family member that was admitted there, and I went up to the rooms, you know, and I was like, man, I remember when I was sick, it never looked like this. So it looks like you can tell where the neglections started coming in, man, because it's really dilapidated. I mean, you know, GMH, they've been extending that thing so many times, they could have done it once and for all. Right. You know what? They're built right on the parking lot.
Yeah. Well,
the parking lot, break down the old one.
There's
the parking lot.
Tom Shea's got a couple of interesting ideas on what to do with that property. Maybe one of these days I'll spend some time and talk to him. That throat clearing you just heard. All right, buddy. I was going to say that throat clearing you just heard is Jerry Roberts. It means that's my signal for us to get into the extra point. Although I will say that Jerry seems to be preoccupied with a bunch of the goodies that have been left behind by Jay Rojas' early morning visit.
I'll tell you what, this guy.
Uh-huh.
Awesome dude.
So he reminds me of you.
Really?
Yeah. Because you got good. You're good at this thing. I like to call follow through, where you'll get an idea and go, "Hey, I bet so and so would really like to see this link on the YouTubes," and then you actually send it out. You know, a couple of years ago, we were talking about great Christmases, and he had picked out something for everybody in the room, and actually went out and bought it. There is every once in a while you'll see me and my beard looks good. And that's because he gave me a beard guy kit.
Oh, you actually use it?
Yeah, I use it. It's got a nice little beard brush on it, and this beard wax that I put on. And when I do, I usually get comments about how, wow, you don't look homeless today. Right? And I say that's because I'm using that beard oil that Jerry Roberts gave me. Anyway, awesome. So he's really good at he follows. He gets an idea. I'm going to get Ray a DEH hat. And he got it for me. You know what DEH stands for, right? Department of Environmental Health. Yeah. And I was using that so I could get into places without my mask back in the COVID times and pretend like I was here from the Department of Public Harassment and Secret Service. But anyway, I digress.
I was impressed with the fact you got the plug-in on
for
the hospital.
GRMC.
Yeah. See, back in the day, but that's what we used to charge by the plug.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, if we got an extra one in, then it was called windshield wiper radio.
Yeah.
Because after the show, you go out there and you look into your windshield wiper, there'd be an envelope there for you. See, that's what it was all about.
I don't know about that. Eric Plinsky likes the sound of my voice, so I will continue to say things like your healthcare partners. Jerry Roberts is our Extra Point partner, and we've got today's episode all lined up, brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank. Jerry?
Is there a right time to tell your manager, no, sorry, I can't do what you're asking me to do? Well, today's commentary has the potential to make some folks just a little bit nervous, and that's coming next on the Extra Point.
Fly even higher and get to your destination with the United Credit Card from First Hawaiian Bank. You can earn 40,000 miles with $2,000 worth of spending within the first 3 months. That's 40,000 reasons to get on board with the First Hawaiian Bank United Credit Card. It all starts with yes. Certain restrictions apply. To learn more about this offer, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or go to fhb.com/United.
Hafaday, this is Severina. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Saying no at work, it's hard. It's scary. You don't want to let your boss down. You don't want to get in trouble. Will you lose a chance at a promotion? Will you lose your job? It really doesn't matter if you're new to the workplace or you've been at it for decades. Refusing your boss's request is likely to get your heart beat up. Still, there are times when that may be warranted. Let's explore this topic and see where it takes us. How about when you're asked to work outside of your actual job description? Should you decline? Now, I was told a few days ago that this is common in government positions, both GovGuam and the federal government. Workers just say no, even if it's written somewhere that you don't have to exceed your job description. I think I'd be looking to make sure that's okay that I do. Think about it. If the boss is short of help and maybe on a deadline, and it looks like the operation is going to come up short in some way, am I really going to wave my job description under his or her nose and shake my head? In my opinion, the only legit answer is along the lines of, I'm not sure I'm qualified to do what you need done, boss, but I'm game to help the team in any way I can. I want to help, and I want people to know they can count on me when things really matter. Imagine you're on leave and you want to enjoy your time away from work. That's okay. Do you put your phone on Do Not Disturb, or do you leave it on as normal just in case somebody needs your help to solve a problem? If I'm the absolute only person who can give the answer, that's either by design or by a failure of leadership. Unless it's a critical issue that is super top secret. Why am I the only person who can deal with the problem? I believe in having reasonable boundaries and fair expectations on how much I need to be in communication with my employer while I'm away. That being said, What if a client or a vendor calls and needs my specific assistance? Am I okay with that person being told, sorry, Jerry will be back in 3 weeks and doesn't want to be disturbed? Seems to me that clients and vendors have fair and reasonable expectations, too. Maybe you're saying to yourself, well, I see where this is going. Jerry would never say no to a boss. Actually, there are instances where I'd be doing that. The first is more of an advisory than it is a rejection. If I was asked to do a job and upon assessing that the chances of succeeding were low or non-existent, I'd be upfront that I'd give it everything I have, but I don't see a good outcome here. Then the boss could decide whether or not to move forward. The second situation is if my lack of skills made it highly likely that I or someone else would be put at risk in terms of physical safety if I took on the job. The third time I'd say no is if I was asked to do something unethical. If you followed this program for a while, you may know that I once did refuse an order to lie to a client. I was working as a manager in California, and the owner of the company regretted a deal that he had made years before with one of his prime clients. At a dinner I attended with the competitor of this client, my boss made a deal that violated that agreement. In short order, the first client discovered what was happening and called me with all of the facts. I informed my boss and he told me that to tell the client that he was wrong, that he hadn't seen what he had seen, and that we hadn't violated the deal. So I refused on 3 counts. 1, we were wrong to go back on our word. 2, the man had all of the evidence. He had seen what he had seen. And 3, I wasn't going to lie to him. Not only was that wrong as well, it would only serve to insult his intelligence and further infuriate him. So what happened? Well, I got fired. Later, I found out that my then former boss had told the client that the whole thing had been my fault, been my planning. This was my effort completely. He had nothing to do with it. And that he let me go when he found out what dastardly deeds I had done. Who told me that? Yeah, the client told me that, whom I'd given my home phone just in case he ever needed to reach me after hours. Yep, it was before cell phones. So he thanked me for playing it straight with him, and he wished me well. So yes, there are times when I think it's right to tell the boss no. For the most part, however, I'd like to be a part of the solution. I hope you do too. That's the extra point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show and First Hawaiian Bank, I'm Jerry Roberts.
There's a couple other lines that you can go down there where every once in a while there are times where you
What
say...
happened with the client?
You gotta say, what's that?
Well, what happened with the client?
What did they eventually do?
Yeah.
Client, well, I guess they worked it out because they stayed on as a client. I happened to work with a company that had the only such service in L.A. Going at the time. So they kind of were forced to stay with him, and I guess they mended fences. But it was the client that called me and told me what my former boss had done, and called him and said it was all my fault. Yep. So that was it was interesting.
Interesting tales. Now, 7:34 in the morning. Wish I had more time. Got Senator Tom Fisher coming into the studio online right now, though. Senator Jesse Anderson Lohan, an update on something that he has been chasing down on behalf of travelers from Guam, among others, who find themselves having to do extra chores when they get to the airport in Hawaii. Buenas and Avade, Senator Lohan.
Hey, good morning, Ray, Real Joe, Donna D, and of course, Jerry Roberts. Hey, I got some great news. I just got information, of course, that effective the 28th of April, a few days ago, as a matter of fact, the Honolulu Transit Process Update, all connecting customers arriving on UA 200 from Guam will now have the opportunity to relinquish their check-in bags to a baggage transfer agent immediately upon exiting the customs hall. Connecting customers no longer have to clear agricultural inspection nor check in their bags at the United ticket counter at the lobby. Lobby 8, upon completion, connecting customers can now proceed directly to TSA Checkpoint 3 to enter the concourse of their connecting flights. So, great news there.
Wow. Oh, so did they repair everything, or did they just figure out a manual process that they could do?
You know, I don't know if they repaired everything, but I'm glad that they found a way to be able to alleviate the hardship that the customers from Guam have to go through when they're when they're traveling to points beyond Hawaii and have to transit in Hawaii. So that's great news. I want to thank again the airport management in Honolulu, the governor over there, of course, and United over here as well, and a joint effort and trying to alleviate again this situation.
Well, sometimes all it takes is it takes a couple of emails and telephone calls to get it done. You'd think the governor would have gotten it done when she was there last week.
Well, you would think.
Oh, how about that? Hey, listen, last hour I had former Governor Carl T. C. Gutierrez on the radio talking about measures that apparently were mooted out by Monty's removal from the board over at the Guam Visitors Bureau. Just checking your observations and comments on activities that took place between the governor and Monty and the board last week. And I'm sure you've seen it already, candid reporting, virtually most of the details, and I think maybe a little bit more of the details that are in the final BRCC that's at the Attorney General's office and the public auditors. What are your thoughts?
Yes, Ray, as I told you before, in regards to I had FOIA'd that BRCC findings as well, and I had said read through it, and it's pretty scathing. And my understanding is Candid had also FOIA to receive the documents as well, and they're the ones that are publishing it. Actually, it's available on the GVB website as well, but it is pretty scathing. And so we'll see what happens right now, because my understanding is the public auditor now is looking at the statute of limitations, where that's at in regards to that running out soon, and possibly looking at the findings and probably trying to put that ahead of some of the other things that he's needing to do if the statute of limitations is coming up. And my understanding as well is that they're investigating this situation as well.
What are your thoughts, just real quick? I've got your office mate Tom Fisher coming in just a second. If he's bald, it's Tom Fisher. It's not.
I'm sorry?
Oh, no, it's Donna says, who's that? And I said, I don't know if it's... Oh, it's Lloyd?
Yeah, he's coming. Fisher's here like any second.
Any second. Okay. At any rate, so your thoughts moving forward. I mean, how are we going to resolve the conflict and the nature of that? It seems to be built in here. We want to get people that are subject matter experts where it comes to hospitality and tourism here on Guam, and so we put them on the board, and then we should not be surprised when they've got these great ideas that might also happen to positively impact their bottom lines in their various businesses.
Obviously, Ray. I mean, I thought we were moving on, and by the law. But this is a perfect example where the legal counsel had advised them not to do as such what they did with Monty, because again, law restricts what they did, and tough to find out again, going to the Attorney General for his opinion, it says what they did was illegal and unlawful, and so that's what happens. And so, I mean, again, you cannot continue to do what you've been doing and think it's all right at this point, because board members are changed out. And so you got to adhere to the law. You got to adhere to that. And my understanding, everybody had said they were going to adhere to it. And they were.
I see what you're saying. So, yes, okay, we'll follow the law until we don't like the way it looks. And then we'll follow the law or pretend to until the Attorney General tells us that we're acting in conflict with the law.
It's now justifying more and more that the legislature has to get involved and make sure that the laws adhere to it, and possibly changing some of the things that are happening. So it's very obvious moving forward that that's what has to be done.
All right, Senator, congratulations on the impact that you have had with the governor of the state of Hawaii, who figured out a way to make it so that people coming in on UA 200 into Honolulu don't have to lug everything back up and get cleared again through the process before they can get back on the airplane. Shelley told me it was survivable, but absolutely no fun whatsoever.
Yeah. And actually, I'll send you what I received, and that way you can continually to repeat it for the folks that are saying, hey, it's been a pain. Now that pain has been alleviated. Now whether this is a permanent fix or not, I don't know at this point, but at least it's been
it's addressed. It's addressed is the point here. 20 away from the top of the hour. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Senator Jesse Anderson-Lahan, you're very, very welcome. Appreciate you calling us first with the details here. So, yeah, you don't have to get your stuff after they've inspected your stuff and then go back upstairs and check in all the way through to whatever your final destination is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a big. So Shelley told me, and she was on the same plane as Governor Lou when they took off last week. And like I said, she went through the process and told me it was no good. I said, you should have told Lou to handle your bags. Because that's the governor's job. That should have been the governor's job to call up and say,
for us.
Hey, listen, I'm hearing a story about the people from Guam that have got to do all this crazy hoop jumping when they get to the airport, Governor of Hawaii. I wonder, Democrat Governor of Hawaii, a request coming from a Democrat Governor of Guam, is there a way that we might be able to alleviate this problem for travelers from Guam over a little bit? And it would have been, like I said, a couple of phone calls, a couple of emails to get it done. So between Jesse and United and the governor of the state of Hawaii, it looks like that's done effective the 28th of April. People listening in the broadcast right now that are in the States that got there on the 27th of April, sorry, sucks to be you, but the next time you go, and for family that is going to be following you out, should not be as much of a problem as it is.
So who
these
did
days.
that? Senator Jess did all that?
It sounds like Senator Jess did all of that.
Thank you, Senator Jess.
Very good. We did it, Joe. It's 7:42 in the morning. Quick look at what's going on in news and headlines with Donna D. We haven't gotten around to doing that just yet. Senator Tom Fisher, gonna give him some time to get in by taking care of the news now. Brought to you by Burger King. We're in a month that's got enough Wednesdays in it to say, hey, I love Whoppers, and grab another one while you're hitting the drive-thru. Also being brought to you by Half a Day Realty. You reach out to them at halfadayrealty@gmail.com. Now with news and headlines, here is Donna D.
55-year-old Dindo Balintag had been arrested after being accused of stealing from a Dededo residence where he used to live. Court documents state a woman known to him told police that Balintag broke into her room and stole nearly $2,000 worth of items. He told officers he knew how to get into the room because it used to be his. He was charged with burglary and theft of property. And Chief Justice Robert Torres will be delivering the annual State of the Judiciary address this morning at 10 o'clock at the Guam Congress Building. Speaker Therese Terlahi has called senators into session to prepare for the speech. Judiciary officials have not released what the Chief Justice will discuss. And summer school registration for GDOE students is ongoing until May 12. The program runs from June 5 to July 13. Elementary and middle school students will receive additional support to work on specific skills. High school students can earn a max of 2 credits over the 4 sessions. Classes will be conducted online, and laptops and MiFi devices will be available for students in need. And those are your local headlines. Back to Ray.
See, everybody's excited about it. I got this from my brother. It says, effective April 28th, all connecting customers arriving off UA 200 from Guam will now have the opportunity to relinquish their check-in bags to a baggage transfer agent immediately upon exiting customs halls. Connecting customers no longer have to clear agriculture inspection nor check in their bags at the United Ticket counter at Lobby 8. Upon completion, connecting customers can now proceed directly to the TSA checkpoint number 3 to enter the concourse for their connecting flights. And there it is. It is all done. Quarter away from 8 o'clock in the morning in the Ray Gibson Show. Quick look at this beautiful image of, they got some great sunset over the weekend down in Molesto. Did you make it to the Crab Festival?
No, man. That's too far, Ray.
I didn't make it to the Crab Festival either. Because
I didn't have gas, but I was curious.
I hurt my back. But
oh, my gosh.
But I'm going to use that. That's going to be my
thing. Yeah, we
thing.
could have won, Ray. But you couldn't bend over to catch the crabs.
Donna's like, hey, you want some of this cake that J. Ross bought? I don't know, my back.
I'll feed you, Ray.
Weekend view of Molesto over the weekend. It's as I said, a couple of great sunsets. I saw some from Saturday night, and I think this might have been from last night. Thank you, Army Lynn, for sending that in. I'm going to leave that up while the commercials play.
Express yourself into the groove. The Guam Chamber of Commerce celebrates its 99th anniversary at the Dusatani Resort on May 6th with the theme of Madonna's Vogue. The Chamber's membership includes many corporations, large and small, entrepreneurs, and nonprofit organizations. Members play a key part in making Guam a star-bright place to live, work, and play. Let's congratulate the Guam Chamber of Commerce and its members on celebrating its 99th anniversary.
KFC's Double Down is back?
Double down, double, double, double down, double down, double, double, double down. Chicken, chicken, bacon, chicken, chicken, cheese. Double down, double, double, double down.
Double down on KFC's Double Down.
Now on Guam for a limited time and available for delivery. WhatsApp 300-3278 and order online at kfcguam.com. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Yeah, there's the sound. It says I got to do some traffic. Let me see if I can find whatever it is that's holding up Tom Fisher from getting into the building. Slower traffic. You pop out to Y Sang Song. Actually seeing a little bit of traffic at Y Sang Song. Also traffic moving very, very slow. Leche Macheche. If you're trying to get to Marine Corps Drive from there, it's going to be a little bit of a jog. Otherwise, intersection traffic starting to slow down around the intersection of 1 and 3, meeting up with a whole lot of southbound traffic. Then we've got Marine Corps Drive traffic on the other side of that. We got burger places on the left and the right, and that looks like it's I'm looking at slower traffic southbound on Marine Corps Drive through there, and then we get into some traffic around this area and the ITC building, and definitely running much slower than normal at those intersections. 8, 10, and 16 busy on the Wendy's side, busy on the Happy Mart side, and double busy in both directions on the Route 8 side of it. If you're south of the Golden Sea intersection, should be doing all right. No major dogging out traffic until you get to by Cars Plus. And then we've got traffic on Route 10, 10 and 15. That intersection busier than normal right now, and it's ugly on Route 4. Don't know what's going on. Looks like we got slow traffic in front of the Aposento Gardens intersection over by the... That's a cost you less now, right? Over there?
All day.
And since, ever since, I'm just going, oh, yeah, they changed that, recently.
I don't know.
And, yeah, if you're not central, you're not central. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just stop at Agania Heights. What do I need to go over there for? And then we got a little bit of traffic around the Agania Heights area into the downtown Agania area. Nothing major over by Adelup. Don't see a whole lot happening. All the way to not Anderson, Big Navy in Sumai. There it is. You're right now, traffic. This is The Point.
Half a day. This is Clara Manglonia from Security Title with an important warning. Wire fraud is real, and home buyers and sellers are one of the biggest targets, even on Guam. When sending money by wire transfer, be sure to confirm the wire instructions by phone, not email. In this case, it's good to be suspicious and know who you're dealing with. Let the professionals at Security Title work with you to minimize loss due to wire fraud. We are here to help.
Join us at Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro and see why they've been crowned Guam's best Chamorro food restaurant for 9 consecutive years. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus tenactac, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet burgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña location from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch, 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. for dinner, or 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. for their famous Sunday brunch.
Rediscover talk radio here. Your FM News Talk Superstation. This is The Point.
748 Ray Gibson Show. Got to get to it quick. Got Attorney Tom Fisher in the studio. Also, Senator Tom Fisher in the studio and in here now on some senatorial business. Now, I'm not going to say who, but I did get a question from an interested listener. It says, see if Fisher will weigh in on the GVB board and Amanda not recusing herself. I cannot identify the troublemaker that sent this in, but what the heck? It is an interesting place to begin the conversation.
Who said troublemaker?
I can't tell you, but his initials are...
Okay.
It's not meant to be a hot seat, and it's certainly not a hot seat question, but it certainly has been interesting what's been going on, the discrepancies between the board.
That's absolutely a fair question. Yeah. I mean, I brought it up. I've spoken to her about it. I've written a letter about it. If you have an interest, familial, financial, any sort of a beneficial interest, you ought not to be acting on the bill. You need to disclose that. And at a minimum, you have to disclose it so people can, take what it is you're saying and how you're acting with perhaps a grain of salt. And
can we use the Klitsky defense of everybody knows?
No.
Okay.
No. No. How's that for an answer?
You need to come out and say, yeah, I'm related to somebody who's on the board.
Yes.
And it's a pretty close relationship that they've got.
Yeah, it's an ethical question.
The body can then decide if they want to move forward.
Sure. Everybody knows. Everybody knows I just robbed the 7-Eleven. Does that mean I get a pass? Sorry, Bob.
No. He will use that from time to time. I don't know that he's ever successfully used it, but it's always It's always interesting when he brings it up in the context of what he likes to talk about. One other thing before we get to the referendum that we're going to be talking about here today is how are things looking on the active investigation now on the fake amendment that came out? Mm-hmm. Do you remember that one? It was Julian Jensen's involvement there.
Oh yes, absolutely. I do remember that. That was a terrible thing. I mean, it's got a lot of parallels to the question that comes up with Amanda. Whether or not you need to recuse yourself. I mean, there was so much going on in about a 1 hour period down there in the floor. It was really surprising. We had one senator who should have recused himself from any action whatsoever and did not. Mm-hmm. And tied to that was this fake amendment that was designed to hurt the body and specifically hurt Chris Duenas. What's going on with that investigation? The investigation is ongoing. Mm-hmm. How about that?
Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, well, it's kind of what I figured I was going to get from there. Now, I started getting chatter in the wares the other day about a piece of legislation that has been introduced. It is on the legislative website, 106-37, an act to provide submission for consideration by the Guam voters at the next general election and to provide Guam voters the power to decide on reproductive rights. Yes. Now, I think there are people that are already going to choke on it just based on the title, reproductive rights. The Supreme Court of the United States of America just a few months ago said there is no inherent right to abortion.
They did. That was the Dobbs decision, and
yeah.
That was boy. I could go an hour and a half on the Dobbs decision. I'll spare you on that one though. But that is what the court found. They found that the right to abortion cannot be found in the Constitution, according to the court, and it cannot. It is not a deeply rooted right within the American experience, the American constitutional experience. And by coming to that conclusion, they said, well, the states and territories can make the decision because there is no fundamental constitutional right. So we picked up the mantle. That's what we're doing. This is, I understand the abortion question. I understand how it gets people's, infuriated.
Well, heckles go right up, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, but that is not the question here today. The question is, we are going to, what we're going to do is fulfill our responsibility under Dobbs and make that decision. So this is a legislative submission. It's going out to the people to decide. And, we've been using the word referendum. This is not a referendum. This is the legislature saying, you all decide. Over the weekend I was reading some of the comments, and I think it was this guy, he's got a blog, Jungle Rap or something.
Jungle Watch.
Jungle Watch, yeah. And, he was more than a little bit ticked off that this was going...
Very staunch pro-lifer. I know who you speak of.
Okay. Tim Rohr, right? He was saying, and I thought, he had a good point, and I wrestled with it quite a bit, which is, are you doing your job? We elected you to go in there and make these decisions for us. And what I'm doing, or what the legislature will do, is ask the people to make the decision. And he was insinuating that it is a dodge. It is to an extent, but we have to answer the question. And then, I've always looked at the question of reproductive rights, however you want to, the nomenclature you want to use. If we look back at the centuries-long history, which the court did in Dobbs, but if we just look at our recent, when I say recent, I mean in the last, 50 to 100 years, the jurisprudence and the thinking on this has always been created by men. That is the truth of the matter. It's always been created by 50 or 49% of the population that does not have a uterus, telling the majority of the population how they can control their own body. That is fundamentally what's going on, and it's rooted in, religious, spiritual meaning, and so forth and so on. I understand that. But we also have to understand that we all have personal autonomy. Now, this is not an argument. I'm not here to make an argument for or against abortion.
Yeah, and I'm doing everything I can to hold my tongue.
Well, launch.
Well, I mean, the launch is the father is 50% of the equation,
Sure.
and needs to have the same say as the mother in this case. We talk about autonomy. I'm pro-choice in that the mother has a choice to have protection. The father has choice to have protection. But once that has happened, once the baby is on the way, the baby, another life, is on the way and should be just as protected as the mother.
And that's the question. That has always been the fundamental question. When does the fetus, and here we go into the abortion argument, and I'm sure we're going to solve it right now. But that has always been the question. When, and the courts recognize that. Even in Dobbs, they recognized the fact that the state has an interest the older the fetus becomes. And this submission is not an unlimited right to abortion. It's up to fetal viability. Of course, after fetal viability, then the state can step in because the state has an obvious interest in that. But prior to fetal viability, the balance changes. The balance change. I mean, the whole thing is, and you just brought it up. Well, who are we going to bat for here? Are we going to bat for the potential mother, or are we going to bat for the fetus? That's the way it is, right? And we have nobody in this room, nobody on this island has that answer. What we do know is we have to make an attempt to answer the question. It's thrown in our laps.
Just real quick, how would it be handled in a criminal case if somebody attacked a pregnant woman? At which point in a situation like that would it be considered, say, an attack on the woman and the baby?
Unclear. Most jurisdictions that have faced the issue have actually addressed it. If a mother is, for example, quickening and she is killed and the fetus dies, then some states have actual statutes that provide for an additional charge of murder, manslaughter, whatever the case is.
We do here.
We do. Okay. Well, that answers your question then, right?
I don't know when the viability kicks in on that. I think it might just be a blanket.
Well,
she's pregnant and you took 2 lives and that's all there is to it. 7:57, limited amount of time here as we move through. Now it's an interesting. I mean, the setup is familiar to people that have had questions that they wanted to bring before the voters here. It's not all that tricky. We're saying it's yes or no. If it's yes, then the Health Protection Act of 2023. Which in my mind is a pro-abortion measure, would all of a sudden become the law of the land.
Well, you're right, and I thank you for pointing that out. People are getting a little confused. They think that if they support this law, they are supporting the right to abortion. They are not. This law is about putting the question before the people. And what is the question? Just as you framed it, you said this looks like it's pro-abortion.
Could we have gone with another piece of legislation or proposed legislation that was more restrictive? Maybe putting Bill Ariola's law back out.
Absolutely. And if a legislator wants to do that, or if the people through a referendum want to send it to the legislature, they can do so. However, this is the answer. This is a potential answer to the question. And you said this appears to be pro-abortion. Yes. This is this is Roe and Casey versus Planned Parenthood, codified. Well, why did I make that step? It was because of the Dobbs decision itself. I'll tell you what, if you want to, if you really want to understand what the danger,
I think I understand the legal thinking behind it.
Yeah, the danger of Dobbs, though, is you can discover that easily in Kagan and Sotomayor's concurrence, and Thomas himself, he didn't pull any punches. He said all of it's on the table. Gay marriage is on the table. Sodomy is on the table. The use of marrying outside your race is on the table. That is the import of Dobbs. And I'm still going to stand on my soapbox here, and I'm going to say, I think Dobbs is going to be short-lived. It's one of the worst decisions the Supreme Court's ever come down with. I'm happy to say this. It's right up there or down there with Plessy versus Ferguson and Dred Scott and Korematsu. I just don't think it's going to last. I would give it another 10 or 15 years, and it was like Sotomayor said. She said, what is the difference in abortion and right to life jurisdiction today that is different from 10 years ago? And her answer is, the composition of the court changed. And she's exactly right. Nothing has changed other than that the court has taken a jog to the right. And that being said, we have what we have. And this submission is designed to hopefully answer the question one way or another.
Well, it's got to get through the legislative process first. So if as you're listening to this, and everybody's got an opinion one way or the other, and everybody's got some very, very strong feelings one way or the other, we're going to be late for Fox News. I'll tell you that right now, because I do want to conclude here with a couple of points. Number one, this is just a legislative proposal. It has been introduced. It still has to go through the process, which will include what I am going to suggest now is going to be, I will predict that this is going to be one hell of a public hearing when it comes up.
I think so, but
I think it's going to be a hell of a conversation on the floor of the legislature.
Well, I agree with you
if
on
it
both
gets
of
out of
those
committee.
things, but we have to remember that this, and I appreciate you pointing out the dichotomy here. This submission brings the question. This is not the answer to the question. The people will answer the question. And frankly, I don't see... I do respect the idea of, well, this is a legislative dodge. That's why we elected you to do it. You know, that is a hard question, and it's a legitimate question, you know. But the question has to be answered. This is a way to answer it. Let's not get confused. Let's not put the cart before the horse. We need to get the question to the people. Then we're going to have a full-throated debate. And this is going to come on to the next general election. So, you know, people need to get ready for the argument.
It's got to make it out of the committee. And it's got to pass by the legislature. I imagine that if it passes with a minimum number of votes, that the governor is going to sign off on this immediately. It looks like it was written to be sent to her desk.
Well, I didn't write it necessarily for that purpose.
It just looks like something that she'd gravitate towards easily.
Well, okay, and why?
Because as I say,
because
it points
it's Roe
to
and Casey.
Well, the Health Protection Act of 2023, which, as I read it again, is a very pro-abortion measure, and I have not made it all the way through. I'll tell you that. I'm pro-abortion, baby killing is the way. It just kind of lubricates the process to get to there. And if that's the end game, then okay. But I would suggest that there is going to be another way to look at this. If the people of Guam say no, then maybe it should point to another companion piece of legislation that preserves the life.
Well, somebody could drop one. You could drop the bill.
So if everybody votes and the answer is the affirmative, if that's the way you want it to go, okay, Health Protection Act of 2023. And if everybody votes no, then it would point to the Baby Protection Act of 2023.
This would be rejected, and then we would be at status quo, and we don't know what status quo is. I know there are people arguing that this Bell Areola law has been revivified, but, you know, it was void ab initio. I don't agree with that particular line of thinking. But wouldn't
that mean that Bell Areola's law, if you disagree, you would consider that the law of the land?
No, I wouldn't. It was void ab initio. I think Bell.
Well, I thought you said you disagreed with that ruling.
Which one?
The ab initio, because it was
no, I agree.
Contrary to the Constitution at the time.
I think Casey had already been decided at that point, and you know, the constitutional law was satisfied at that time. I do not agree that the Bell Areola law has somehow come back to life based on the fact that the Dobbs decision came down. I don't think that makes any sense. But I understand people are making that decision. But now we're getting into the
we still haven't gotten to the part where the injunction has been lifted.
No, we haven't got to that at all. What we are doing with this is we're trying to decide the question. We can't just go on for years, decades after decades after decades, screaming at each other over this issue.
Why not wait out the district court and their lifting of the injunction?
Because this particular law preserves a constitutional right. It preserves, it codifies a constitutional right that needs to be recognized, in my opinion. Okay?
Which constitutional right?
The constitutional right under the 14th Amendment. It's privacy and liberty. Yes, absolutely. You know, here I'm going to go off on Dobbs here just a little bit.
You go right ahead.
But they got the question completely wrong. The question is not, is abortion found in the Constitution, or is abortion deeply rooted in the American constitutional experience? Abortion isn't. They're right. You can't find the word abortion in the Constitution. You can find the word liberty. And liberty, what is liberty if you don't have privacy? What is liberty if you don't have control of your own body? That is the counter-argument to that.
You know, never went to law school, but I thought it was kind of a jump.
Well, I think Dobbs got it wrong. That is not the constitutional right we're talking about. Nobody's going to argue that the word abortion does not exist in the Constitution. Does the right under a system of ordered liberty to have bodily autonomy, does that exist? I think the answer clearly is yes. I can't force you to take a medication. We just went through everybody's hair was on fire over vaccines, you know? And
I knew what my position was.
Okay.
My body, my choice.
All right.
However,
so your body, your choice.
I was not gestating another human being in my body. And did not have to make a choice for that.
True, but you have to make a choice if you are going to be making decisions for your neighbor, right? And that decision, my opinion, is mind your own business, frankly.
Absolutely.
Okay. But
we don't disagree on
right.
too much. I think it's just fundamental. My approach is if there's a once we know there's a baby in there, then there's another human life that is independent of the mother and the father and needs preservation and protection.
When can the state? It's impossible to have this discussion. I mean, we can't talk about this bill, I think, forthrightly if we're not going to talk about the issue of abortion. But the question has always been in the weighing, in the scale. When does the right to bodily autonomy give way to the state's interest in protecting a viable fetus and the mother's health? There is some point along the scale where that happens. And we have never been able to answer it. We never will be able to answer it. We can just make our best attempt.
And find out what the people have got to say about it.
Which
is where we agree on this one totally and completely. Is I agree with the idea that maybe this ought to be put before the people. There are rights and responsibilities of the legislative body, and we have just gone through the exercise to determine that yes, you are in fact the third, second co-equal branch of the government. Yes, we can.
Well, before you throw me out of here,
because I'm excited. I was thrilled that the legislature finally got around to doing what they should have been doing back to the 35th Guam legislature.
Well, I'm not real sure what you're talking about, but what I'm talking about
declaring their autonomy and saying we don't work for Lou.
Yeah, I just shout out to the 37th Guam legislature. We all got together. I was so proud to be part of that body. Everybody stepped up. You should have heard, I don't know if you did, the speeches on the floor when we were going through the override. Everybody stepped up, and it was very, very impressive. Very impressive.
Well,
so
I thought you made some.
I'm proud to be a part of that legislature.
And I thought you made some great points yourself on a variety of the times that you did get up to speak about it, and you called in to question just the nature of the expiration dates that were on that were forced onto the people of Guam by the Department of the Navy for absolutely no good reason, and to what purpose that we never found out. But we were told it was firm until it passed, and then we said, well, okay, we're going to give you another one.
We're going to give you another one. Yeah, that was just
another 15 days. It made absolutely no sense.
Okay, but we can't sit on our laurels. We've got a healthcare situation on the island that has to be taken care of. I mean, it just does, right? I can sit here and pat the legislature on the head. Now we got to get to work.
Two things.
We can't just,
Two things. So, number one, I agree with you here. We don't rest on your laurels. Two things is there's money in the bank that can take care of some of the bleeding problems that are impacting Guam Memorial Hospital right now. We can't forget that exists.
Correct.
The other thing that we've got to do is we have to address the statement that there's no more of of one of the pillars of the agreement between the government of Guam and the Department of the Navy, and that is net negative. We were told that there wasn't going to be any more net negative. Well, what does that mean? Because I'd seen an inventory of military property that they had intended to give back to the people of Guam that was more than just Lalu. And there's a significant number of other places and other properties.
Well, I think the change was China. It's changed the paradigm, I think, for the Department of Defense on island. They are gearing up for something.
Are they going to need all of those properties? Are all of them now all of a sudden contenders for Aegis ashore type defense systems and more THAAD missiles?
Yeah, well, I think my addition to that conversation is I think that people's attitudes are shifting in a way. We're kind of moving on to a footing we didn't want to be at. Camp Blas is here. You can see the activity in the air and the seas around us. I think the Navy is deeply concerned, and I think that you asked about the net negative. I'm thinking they probably wish they had never said it.
That could be. 9 after 8 o'clock in the morning. Always a fascinating conversation with you. To agree, disagree. That's what you do when you're a lawyer.
Right.
And it'll be interesting to see where this goes. I can already begin to feel some of the wheels turning in motion on both sides. Guam Daily Post interviewed Vanessa Williams on the pro-abortion side. They talked to Dave Sablan on the pro-life side, or anti-abortion side. Everybody owns different. There's different names in the sweaters of the clubs.
Unfortunately, because that has really clouded the argument. The idea is if you are, pro-choice, you're suddenly, for killing people, which is insane. But that's the way the argument was framed years and years and years ago. I'm pro-choice. I'm anti-abortion.
Well, neither one of them seem to appreciate the measure that you and Tina have proposed. So, as I say, going to be an interesting conversation moving forward. Get ready for it. Extra security or free food. I think you'll need one to sate the crowds that show up. 10 after 8 o'clock in the morning.
We should probably do it with my vape bill at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Here's another home run from the Slash office. All right. Well, you have a terrific day, and I appreciate you dressing up for the show.
Thank you. I'll be anytime. I really enjoy it.
Normally I see somebody like that, I say, oh, there's the defendant. I'm kidding.
Oh, no, Ray, I brought you some paper.
Oh. I've been served. Tom Fisher, I appreciate the time. Slash Fisher is his nickname in Senator Barnett's office. He's attorney/Senator Tom Fisher, and I appreciate your time here.
Thank you so
and
much.
we'll appreciate the fireworks that are yet to come. Lloyd, thanks for bringing him down. Good, you brought your bodyguard with you.
Yeah.
It is. Just after we got headlines and news with Donna D coming up after these.
In an uncertain world, you have to stay a step ahead. ProSay 101 provides you with the legal documents you need to protect yourself and your family. With ProSay 101, you can access a variety of do-it-yourself legal documents to save you time and money. Wills, trusts, divorce, power of attorney, and much more. They also offer free marriage and relationship counseling. Call 800-303-9240 to learn more. That's 800-303-9240. Or visit PROSE101.com.
Guam Regional Medical City is the center of excellence for general and minimally invasive surgeries like colonoscopy, dialysis and vascular access, gallbladder, skin and soft tissue, gastrointestinal tract, hernia repair, spleen, select liver and pancreas diseases, upper endoscopy, and more. Schedule your appointment with GRMC today by calling 671-633-GRMC. That's 671-633-4762. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
Tunay na kaibigan na handa para sa inyo. Ang bangko ng kinabukasan, laging maaasahan. Pan Pacific, where others dug branches, we place roots.
Your local news is brought to you by Nambo Insurance. Skip the line, pay online. It's fast, easy, and secure. Visit nambo.com for more information.
Today it's 8:12. I'm Donna DeJesus with a look at your local news on The Point. GVB President Carl Gutierrez gets to keep his job as a result of an opinion from the AG's office on Friday, nullifying the selection of one of the GVB board directors who voted to open Gutierrez's position on Thursday. Chief Deputy AG Joseph Guthrie wrote that the selection of the GVB's 12th director must be made with the participation of the other 11 directors. Monty Mesa was selected as the 12th member of the board of directors when there were only 9 participating directors. Prior to the selection, Gutierrez requested a legal opinion from the AG regarding the selection of the 12th director. That opinion was pending when the directors decided to bring Mesa on board. Vice President Jerry Perez says GVB is proceeding with business as usual, regardless of any disagreements the board might have with Gutierrez. And Governor Lulian Guerrero has backed out of the proposed lease for Eagles Field, accusing the Guam legislature of blocking her plan to build a new medical campus on the Navy-owned property, and saying the offer of federal assistance has been rejected by the legislature. In response, Speaker Therese Terlahi says the governor misunderstood the legislature's intent. Terlahi stresses that the legislature did not reject the proposed lease. They all agree that Guam needs a new hospital. She adds that Bill 12 ensures that any proposal will be fully disclosed to the public. The governor says she will not request for another extension of the deadline, which was yesterday. Terlahi's committee will hold a hearing to determine the viability of alternative new hospital sites. More news after this.
Go green, go hybrid, go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
AG Doug Moylan and the Guam Homeless Coalition continue to butt heads on how the island's homeless should be approached. The coalition recently unveiling a 5-year action framework that outlines specific actions to improve services for those experiencing homelessness and poverty. The AG responded to that plan, saying the documents reeked of bureaucracy. Moylan noted the nonprofit organization did not participate in the wraparound services during the homeless relocation operation in March. It's an argument he made once before in response to Coalition Chair Samantha Taitino sharing concerns with his lack of compassion in the forced removal. She says the coalition was not invited to the operation. Moylan says his focus is on breaking up the homeless encampments swiftly and helping the Leon Guerrero administration provide the bridge services needed to help them get back into the workforce. He says his office is waiting for Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio to set the date, time, and place of the next homeless encampment operation. And the UOG Career Development Office held their annual job fair on Friday at the UOG Fieldhouse to connect job seekers to employers both on and off island. About 600 applicants were expected to meet with 64 employers invited this year. Some of these were the Westin, Joint Region Marianas, DOA, Domino's Pizza, and Century Insurance Company. Employers from off island also attended from North Dakota, Hawaii, the CNMI, and Japan. Anyone looking for work that was not able to attend the career fair and wanted to connect with employers can visit the Triton Career Connections page on the UOG website at careerconnect.uog.edu. And those are your top stories. Now back to Ray with weather.
I don't know if I can read weather. I got the scathing compliments and comments on online here. And Kitsu in Japan giving me a hard time. Ray, you're doing it again. Let Tom finish talking. But it was hard. I tried. Did you not see me in the beginning when we started talking about?
I saw some real effort.
I was like, so, and he invited me to engage. Thus, right? Oh, and by the way, it is the Ray Gibson Show. Just FYI.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sidebar.
Yeah. Oh, no. It's, tell you what, anybody wants to go on without interruption, we call those commercials, and you can buy as many as you want to. In the meantime, right, some of the comments, Jose wrote a bunch of them. He says, abortion is not reproductive. Please, Senator Fisher, stop misleading the people of Guam. He says, Tim Rohrer is not pro-life. He is anti-abortion. Fisher is losing ground with me on this. It's extremely disappointing. He talked about viability. Will he apply the same to the disabled? Those who are dependent on their parents, toddlers, infants, etc. The veil has been lifted. Dennis Benzer stuck his head in and said, "Hi, am I first?" Sorry, little late for that. Jose says he is avoiding the answer like a true liberal suit guy. Where's Judge Klitsky? He will mop up Fisher's silly arguments and others. But not the cool ones. Says Mike, Grace, Bloss, etc. There some interesting commentary. J Lo says you said that right, Ray. It's your show. All right, so you got some more of that. By all means, go ahead and pop it in there. I don't know where this measure is going to go. I see what he's trying to do, and I can see both sides of the argument. One of them that says it should be a referendum issue. This is something that should be decided by all of the people of Guam in some kind of a referenda where we're all challenged with the same question and the same predictable outcome or the same outcome should it pass. But I will say that that maybe it is a job for the legislature. Maybe it's a job. I don't know. This is the other thing I had in my head is, do you trust those 15? I mean, I know, and I've been simping for them because I wanted them for my own purposes to begin to act like the second branch of government. They didn't do that in the 35th, and they didn't do it in the 36th. I'm delighted that they're trying out, spreading their wings a little bit here. But do you trust just the 15 people to make that decision on behalf of everybody else?
No.
Would you? Thanks, Donna. Would you trust him if it was a bigger number? Would you trust him if it was the old days and there were 21 people down there, and there were much greater opportunities for discussion and debate on the floor of the legislature on what should be done? Should it be a referendum? Is it something that they're comfortable deciding on their own? A good example of this is the conversation about medicinal or recreational marijuana.
What? Huh?
That's just okay. Oh. I said marijuana. Joe's awake. That was a decision made by the 15. Do you remember?
I remember.
I remember that.
Even though my memory's not good anymore.
It was kind of a big deal among some of the people that were watching legislation for marijuana in the states, going, "Wow, this one did not go to the people. They made their decision legislatively. They put it in process through there." So I don't know. I mean, let's have a referendum on that? Do we let the legislature make the decision, or do we put it out to a major vote? And then the other thing I don't like about it is I'm not crazy about, if it wins, then there's the Health Protection Act of 2023. It's very clearly written to ignore the health of the baby that might be involved in the actual abortion. Does it have to be that? Is there another way to conduct all of this stuff? There will no doubt be the undressing of this a little bit later on, Tall Tales with Bob Klitsky, and I will admit he is in a far better position than I am to argue one way or the other on the question of quote reproductive rights. He's much better suited than I am. What with being a lawyer and all, I'm just a guy on the radio that has to talk about it on the radio, and so I did. There it is, partly sunny in today's forecast. Daytime highs near 86 degrees. Winds east up to 16 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy and overnight lows of about 79 degrees. There's mostly sunny in the forecast for tomorrow. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night, mostly sunny by Wednesday as well. So if you didn't get enough by way of grill marks over the weekend because you hurt your back too, about every half hour I ought to mention that. Then get out there and enjoy some sunshine now. Sunrise this morning was at 6. Sunset tonight's going to be at 6:36. Hashtag tell the others. There it is, news and weather together and stuff on the point.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they will continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $4,100 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 671-475-4545, Upper Tumon 671-647-5626, or in Dededo 671-633-4473.
Join us on May 12th as we host our annual PBS Guam Pledge Drive. Tune in and show your support for quality, educational, and entertaining programming. Your contributions help us continue to bring you thought-provoking documentaries, captivating cultural programs, and engaging children's shows. So tune in to PBS Guam Friday, May 12th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. and pledge your support to help us keep Guam enriched, inspired, and entertained. Viva!
Viva! What happened? Portions of the program brought to you by APL, American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by the groovy guys and gals over at Guam Regional Medical City. What did I tell Mr. Galati? They are your healthcare partners.
Bringing you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on ThePOINT.gu.
Oh my God, what? Apparently it looks like a Facebook website, Guam Looking to Buy. Scarlett is posting this. Dude's back again. He's cutting catalytic converters in cars parked on streets. Now he's back with his friends. Let's make him famous. And then a picture of him. It's hard to tell because he's got a mask. The guy got a mask on his
like
face.
Me, man.
Well,
It doesn't look like you.
He's got, I don't know.
His brow bone is different from yours.
Oh, okay. It's not me then.
No. He's got that kind of curve on his neck, makes it look like he spends too much time, looking at his cell phone. That is amazing. So he's got a rechargeable Sawzall and is actually going underneath the car to cut out the catalytic converters, which apparently there's a fence around here for somebody that will take those things in exchange for my guess, crystal methamphetamine. I don't want to presuppose. I don't want to put any guardrails on the conversation for these troublemakers and thieves out there. But my guess is it's going to be for crystal methamphetamine. Wow, there's one. At any rate, so I don't even know what would happen if they cut out the catalytic converter on my car.
I don't think.
I mean, it would go, right? It would still go.
Yeah, it'd be loud, man.
What did you say was in it that they find valuable?
It'd be loud. There's precious metals in there.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Titaniums or platinums or I forget what it is. Yeah, adamantium. There's
vibranium.
Whatever it was that the Wolverine had in his claws. That's what's in. That is what is in those, and apparently it's the same things that is in those lights that Kane Dwayne sells. Hi, my name is Ray, and I hate to report this, but we were a victim here at the radio station of a degree of petty theft, and it was as a result of why did we put those lights up? First of all, we wanted to have
some security and
little
safety.
Bit of security. Yeah. On the side of the building that doesn't have a whole lot of lighting on it.
Just a little bit.
It's one of two things that I wanted to prevent. Number one, there's a guy that will come by here with the stinkiest pee-pee in the whole wide world. And every once in a while, the only reason why you can't smell it is Real Joe is very fastidious with his leftover Fabuloso.
He has a bladder problem.
There's something sick with this guy. Need to find him and take him to our medical partners and see if there's something we can do about it.
Cranberry juice. Come on, man.
It's a cure-all. But the other thing is there was somebody had dumped a family of dogs here, and I haven't seen them recently. It leads me to believe
those are my dogs now. Right?
I'm glad. But somebody was feeding them in the dark of the night, and so what I wanted to do was put up a light out there, and sure enough, I put the light out, and a week later, it's stolen. Somebody stole our fluorescent lights. And I got to admit, the location, it was easy to install it there, which meant that it was going to be easy to steal from there. And it was. So we're going to buy another one and install it in a different place. And, someplace, I don't know, we'll probably booby trap it.
You got to wrap it with barbed wire.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Lee Weber got a hold of me Friday. Remember Friday was saying,
barbed wire remind you of Lee Weber?
Well, because there was a story about where was it the machete attack at the gas station last week, right? And I'd submitted to the listenership of the radio station, the ones that are listening to us now, and I had suggested that now would be a good time to go and get yourself the application for a weapon. Go and see Mike and the guys over at Bargain Tactical.
Yeah.
Pick out a weapon and buy it, and then go and take some courses in it, so you know what to do in the next time. And then if somebody comes at you with brass knuckles, that's what the case was. It wasn't a machete, brass knuckles guy. If that guy comes after you, then you'll have a means to protect yourself. And Mr. Weber, he says, Ray, you remember you're forgetting something from your safety class, and that is the balance of forces, the disparity in force.
Yeah.
So if a guy comes to me with brass knuckles,
yeah,
right, I should be able to meet that force with light force, correct?
Brass knuckles.
With my own brass knuckles.
Or nunchucks. It's up to you, man.
Flying stars. And I said, but okay, wait, well, hold on. This is how this is going to happen in court. When they say, why did you shoot the guy coming after you? You shot him with your gun. All he had was his brass knuckles. And I will say, because I'm too old to get my ass kicked. That's why I'm too old to have to deal with any of that stuff. So I don't care if the guy's 5 minutes younger than me or 20 years younger than me. As far as I'm concerned, he's going to be able to put ruin on me with those brass knuckles. So as far as I'm concerned, young Wimpy Ray is completely justified in using a certain kind of force beyond the scale, if you will, of brass knuckles. Know what I mean? Escalate. I'd say, for the purposes of this case, Your Honor, I identify as a 17-year-old girl. How's that? Can I do that? Can I fudge the rules the way everybody else seems to be fudging the rules?
Of your life.
Thank you very much. 888-825-5888-TALK. The meme machine is working. I tell you what, guys, I'm getting all kinds of crazy stuff. I put this one up here. It says, and I'll read it to you. It says, when your joke is so good, there's a special meeting with HR and the managing director just to talk about it. Yeah, buddy, that's my favorite kind of all. I do miss those closed door meetings that we'd get every once in a while. Oh, you don't get it? You know why? Because you were never that kind of DJ on the radio. I was. I was. 888-8255. Here's another one. We're talking about arming school staff. Every once in a while, this pops up. because you get these people that go shoot schools up with big signs that say this is a gun-free zone, and they go, "Oh, it's like shopping now. Thank you very much." I much prefer the signage that says our teachers are armed and will use deadly force to protect the children. Even guess what? Even if they don't. I think just the sign would be just enough to discourage people from engaging in that kind of behavior. At any rate, I'm killing time and for absolutely no good reason, but I'm killing time here. We got to get into headlines. And normally after headlines, we do celebrity birthdays.
Yes.
But no, it's not. Today is not a good celebrity birthday.
Today?
There's nobody here.
was born.
There's nobody in there. I mean, there's a list, but I'm looking at the list and I don't know who these people are. I mean, I don't even know if Dennis Benzer would know who these people are. I just go, oh, yeah, the name is kind of familiar. Was in a movie that maybe a couple of people went to go watch, or a TV show that was on. I'll let you decide. But we'll do celebrity birthdays just because I feel like I have to, and find some reasons to celebrate over the month of May besides my birthday, 11th.
That's easier.
Yeah?
Isn't it?
Wait, your birthday's coming up?
My birthday is the 11th of this month. 10 days.
FYI, I'm broke. But,
Yeah, talk to your boss about that.
You, man. Happy birthday, Ray.
I'll speak to management.
I'm like, hey, I need a raise.
Jay Rojas just brought your raise in. Wait. What? Okay, so wait. I gotta get this picture up here. We were talking about gunning up here, and I'm not gonna tell you who. You'll recognize her right off. That is somebody that is gunning up and will be prepared for just about any eventuality. Stand by. I just gotta see. This is what happens when they send it to one email contact. Now I've got to move it over to this one so I can play it up on the meme machine. This is worth saving, ladies and gentlemen. This is worth right-clicking on. Unfortunately, you cannot right-click on this. It is a couple of lovely ladies. Tattoos, number one. Number two, neck tattoo. Neck tattoo, sexy. One of them, that's a Collins wife. The one in the white.
I was going to say, I like her eyelashes.
I'm not looking at her at all.
Okay, that's Collins' wife. And
she's pretty.
Yes, and that must be a chocolate gun because she's licking it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, how about that?
She's not touching it.
All I notice is a trigger discipline these women have.
8:31 in the morning. It's always the first thing that I look for. It's the bottom of the hour. Donna D's got news and headlines. I'm going to give her enough time to swallow whatever it is that she's got in her mouth and come right back with news and headlines.
With decades experience in Guam and the region, Take Care members have access to the largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. Membership also includes the high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers and the one-stop FHB Health Center and urgent care. Ask for Take Care. Call 671-647-3526. Go to takecareasia.com for more information. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
For all your real estate needs, call the professionals at Hoffaday Realty. Jody, Saran, Libby, and Lolita, and they'll take care of you on every step of the real estate process. No worries. Just contact Hoffaday Realty at 588-4232 or 588-HOFFA, or email them at hoffadayrealty@gmail.com. They're at 426 Challenge San Antonio, Suite 204 in Tamuning. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 4. Hoffaday Realty for all your real estate needs.
Save over $1,300 a year when you bundle your business mobile, internet, and phone at Docomo Pacific. Some conditions apply. Visit business.docomopacific.com to get an instant quote. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Oh, yeah. Big Sister Shelly online saying, I'm a brother listening from Malibu, sorry.
What the heck is Malibu?
Malibu.
Oh.
What? I'm the mayor of Malibu. That's when the military returns land. That's
Malibu.
That's going to be the next village.
Salan Malibu.
Malibu. Familiar Malibu. Anyway, so good to have you on. Malibu apparently is the thing. All right. Why you do this to me? Jose Tetpago asking, is that a 4-inch barrel? It used to be 2, but now it's 4. And that's all I'm going to say about that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's right over your head. Bottom of the hour, 8:33. Time for our last big look at news and headlines. Cousin Troy's on the way. Stay right there. Donna, what happened?
The Alcoholic Beverage Control Board has approved the ABC license applications of new and reopening restaurants. These include Kitchen Lingo, which will reopen at its former location, Tom Hom Grill and Bar, which now operates the former Tumon Bay Lobster and Grill, and Love Crepe, which specializes in pairing French crepes with French wines. Where's that? They didn't say. I'm curious. Payless Markets hosted a job fair on Saturday to fill 70 positions, including bagger, floral helper, accounting clerk, head cashier, HR assistant, IT technician, loss prevention officer, carpenter, and meat cutter. Those who did not attend the job fair can get info on open positions and applications online at paylessmarkets.com. Applications can also be picked up at any Payless location and at their corporate headquarters in Hagåtña. And Officer Eric Barcinas has been selected as Police Officer of the Year for demonstrating an exceptional level of commitment and excellence. Barcinas is a detective with the Crimes Against Persons unit of GPD's CIS. He's among the top 6 recipients the GPD announced Friday who will be receiving a 2023 Service Award. And that was your last look at local headlines on The Point. Now back to Ray.
Paul says it's in Tumon, that place you're by Main Street Grill.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. I'm remembering something. It has to do with the 5K that's coming up a little bit later on. 8:34 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. Donna D asking about guns in the break. She was saying, okay, so when you go and you take your class, do you already have to have a gun? And if you have to have a gun, how do you get the credential? Okay, so when I went to get my what do you call it?
Noisy cricket?
Firearms ID? My noisy cricket. Well, I'm trying to remember the name of our instructor. My brother Dave will remember, but he lives in Santa Rita now. But anyway, I did not at the time have a weapon. And so I said, listen, I want to take the class. I don't have a gun. Can you bring one? And he says, yeah, I have to charge you for the bullets, when we do that range stuff. And I said, yeah, it's okay.
How much are bullets?
I don't remember what. It wasn't expensive, but the point is that he was able to provide me from his cache of weapons, from his own armory, a weapon that I could use just for the training in the class and then the training at the range. And then once I got the certificate, then I can go and get my license, my permit, and then I go over to see Mike at Bargain Tactical and then go get a gun. And then we were talking about what kind of guns and stuff, and I said virtually there's like an AR. Which you can, virtually everything you can buy without a permit. It's the lower, right?
Yeah.
So the lower is what you need to get the permit. Yeah. But you can buy all of the other parts and accessories.
What's the lower? Silencer and the full auto,
it's like
everything.
The part with the trigger on it, the thing that makes the bullet go boom.
Why did it make it so complicated?
I know, right? Well, because the thing is,
no serial numbers at.
No two ARs are alike. They're like Harleys. They're like Harleys. Everybody
customize
what,
them.
Even Harleys? Man, I don't know these.
Super
they
customizable.
Can be pink or whatever.
Super
I like
customizable.
red.
And then so they can get you red. Didn't they make one that looked like a Nerf?
They did.
Yeah. 8:36 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. Have a cousin Troy. Let me just, cousin Troy, I'm going to bring you in and you can help me do this with Donna. Celebrity birthday. See if you know anybody. Paul Tutrol Sr., 74 years old, and on a reality TV show called American Choppers. Anybody? Didn't think so.
As a Paulie Sr.?
Are you there, Cousin Troy?
Hi, sorry, I'm right here.
All right, Dan Florick from Law & Order SVU is 72 years old. Anybody recognize that name? The TV show? Yes, kind of, sort of. Tim McGraw is 56.
He's country, right?
He what?
He's country, right?
Says he was in 1883.
Oh, he's an actor?
Might be. Wes Anderson, a director, is 54. See, I'm looking over these names. I have no idea who any of these people are. Jamie Dornan from 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, yeah.
Him.
The book is better. Is 41 years old. Lizzie Green, A Million Little Things, turns 20. And social media personality Charlie D'Amelio is 19 years old. Anybody?
No.
Yeah, I
never heard of her.
Don't think
I have no clue who all those
exactly.
people are.
The so-called celebrity birthday list has let me down today. I guess you have to. Lonnie Solis. There's a local celebrity that we know. She's celebrating a birthday online with us this morning, and Donna D eating a cake. Lonnie Solis and
I ate your cake for you.
Donna D eating a cake that we got from Jay Rojas here this morning. All right, Donna, you're off the hook. Cousin Troy's on the line to take over. Good morning, cuz. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you guys doing?
You troublemaker. Every day I'm going to say, Cousin Troy's a troublemaker. Everybody was happy looking the other way on the GVB thing and ask, all those questions that were out there and open, but nobody was really paying attention to on the business risk report, naming names and hinky activities of members of the then board.
It's just the truth. It's not my fault it causes any trouble, but I think there is something to be said about. There's a whole lot in that report, and it is publicly available, and I think it deserves a whole lot more attention than it's been receiving, because we're talking about multi-millions of dollars in questionable misconduct, unethical conduct, maybe kickbacks. Who knows where all of this goes, but clearly, in emails that go back and forth that's attached to that report, and in ledgers of expenditures, and the names of people attached to them, and, were they on the board at the time? What was their relationship to GVB, vendors of GVB? Then, we haven't even
at the basic of it here, concerns have been expressed because of meetings that were being held among board members that where they were conducting GVB business and contemplating spending GVB money. All of that should have been noticed. They should have all taken place in an actual scheduled and noticed board meeting. And even one of the members at the time said he was uncomfortable with the nature of that meeting because it was not noticed and opened.
Yeah, this is not small stuff. These are allegations of violations of Open Government Act, contract clauses on kickbacks, the Whistleblower Protection Act. There's a whole lot going on here, and it really deserves a lot of attention.
Well, it's certainly going to get the attention that it needs. I watch not necessarily a disinterested third party. I mean, it's in my mind kind of amusing to see what's going on, what is transpiring out there, and how they've got good legal representation that seems to be giving them good advice. But they choose not to listen to it, as evidenced in what happened last week with Monty Mesa and his position as the 12th member of the board.
Yeah, their lawyer is the former chief prosecutor of the island. This is not just some random lawyer guy. This is someone who knows exactly what he's doing and knows a lot about corruption, kickbacks, and all that kind of stuff. It's disturbing, to say the least. And the fact that they want to get rid of the lawyer who wrote the investigation report and get rid of the general manager who blew the whistle on the corruption, I mean, it kind of just says everything you need to know about the ethics of this board.
Well, but it seems to be following along with other lessons that have been learned by other boards.
Which one?
With GVB. I'm just saying that it looks like there's a pattern that should be visible now to anybody that is paying attention, and obvious that there needs to be some changes to the way we construct the board, how people are voted into positions or made to be on the board, and what the relationship is really between the board and the management of the Guam Visitors Bureau.
I don't know if there needs to be changes to the board or changes to the expectations of board members. So for one, these board members need to have financial disclosures. Number two, they need to follow the law when it comes to conflicts of interest. And when you are conflicted, you can't vote on something that will give your interested party or yourself money. I think it kind of is just that simple.
Well, I don't disagree, but we run into we think about the construct of this board here, and obviously it's the Visitors Bureau. We want to have people that are familiar with, maybe have got a strong background in the industries that are involved with a Visitors Bureau. And is it just the case that we're never going to have situations where people aren't going to be one way or the other conflicted?
Same can be said about the Guam Board of Medical Examiners, Allied Health Examiners, Nurse Examiners, all of these so-called professional boards where what the people are relying on is their professionalism and their their commitment to ethics.
Well, those boards aren't necessarily spending a blank load of money.
Sure, but they make decisions that
in advertising and promotions. You see where I'm headed? I mean, guys on the doctor board don't have access to money that comes to them from the occupancy tax.
Yeah, no, I understand exactly what you're saying. And then we haven't even done the deep dive into what did $9.7 million get us from RIMS. And, I know them to be a reputable company, but like when you ask, what was $9.7 million for? And where were all those, like who was paid what? And what companies were associated with, what subcontractors of RIMS were associated with all of this? And then you have to look at campaign finance reports and see who were the donors and see who were hired into what gubernatorial campaigns. This is a lot. There's a lot going on here.
Disclosure, just because I have to, RIMS, a marketing advertising agency, has purchased advertising from this radio station, continues to purchase advertising from this radio station group, and at the time, we were the beneficiaries of contracts and agreements that would have us running ads for the different marathons and races, doing interviews for them as well. So I just want to make sure that was disclosed. I'm familiar with some of the workings, at least on the marketing side.
Yeah.
Just saying. Do I get a T-shirt? Do I get it?
And it has associations with other reputable companies, and with $9.7 million and the interconnectedness of its relationship with that GSEI, clients in the hotel industry who also happen to have their representatives on the board of directors of GVB making decisions for the spend of these marketing dollars, not just on itself, but on these programs or on these marathons that hire the same company to do the marketing. One of the employees said it's incestuous.
I'm going to ask you the same question that I was asked to talk to Tom Fisher about, see if he would weigh in on the GVB board, and Amanda over at the legislature not recusing herself from conversations involving the Guam Visitors Bureau.
She just hasn't even said anything. Just, can you at least turn this over to Jesse Lujan and Senator Shelton so that something can get done, because the legislature has held oversight hearings for less.
Correct.
Much less.
Correct. All right. Well, it is interesting, and if you want to get all of the details, and I've got to say, I think the way you have summarized this on Candid was very, very interesting, based on information that I know that exists in the actual report that has been sent to the public auditor and the OPA. The public auditor, I'm sorry, and the Office of the Attorney General. Waiting now that we don't have to worry about a lease over at Lalu, no more Lalo. Now that we don't have to worry about that so much, maybe the Attorney General's office can get around to seeing what needs to be done with that business risk report.
The AG's office I feel bad for those guys. They're busy. I mean, when you consider all the crime that they're trying to prosecute, and then you add to it, everyone's expectations of, and the Attorney General trying to meet those expectations of the investigations of corruption. It isn't just this GVB thing. There's just a whole bunch of other stuff that predate his administration as Attorney General that I understand, or people believe he's taking a look into. So I think just giving him some breathing room, and us having some patience with the Attorney General's office, understanding that they're probably hard at work looking at all this white collar stuff. I'm sure they want to win just as bad as the rest want to win.
A couple of other points from Candid Stories over the weekend here, and again, this one last thought here. Last thing I asked Uncle Carl this morning is your status now, or do you now enjoy the status as whistleblower in this case? Does there need to be certain protections now for Governor Gutierrez and for Joe B. McDonald here in their capacities as lawyer and as the president of the Guam Visitors Bureau, to make sure that there are no actions that the board can take then to effectively silence them or to cease their investigations?
So that's one of the stories we're going to try to get to today. But I think the one that we want to get out before that one is providing our readers a sort of timeline the facts of board members trying to get rid of guitars, just to show, how much of a movement this has been.
The other thing that you had chimed in on over the weekend, and I thought it was kind of interesting, we've got Santa Lou, who's managed to give out pay raises. Now, what is it, 120 people at AdLoop? That's like everybody at AdLoop, right?
Yeah, when I saw that number, I was like, wow, you guys have more employees than we had in the Cowboy administration. If we had 120, we've been able to do some bomb stuff,
Right.
We did great things already, but if we had 120, and then the salary levels already are up there. So the story in the story is that basically, so there's a little bit explaining to be, right? If you're not familiar with how GovGuam exiting works. So when you're in GovGuam, you accumulate vacation leave. They call it annual leave. And you can accumulate as much as you want. But when you leave GovGuam, you can only cash out 320 of those hours. And the cash out is, number of unused hour times your rate of pay. So let's say your rate of pay is $10.
Yeah.
So if you have 500 annual leave hours by the time you separate, you resign from GovGuam, right? You can only cash out 320. You're going to get a gross check of $3,200 if your rate of pay is $10. That's for classified employees. It works out just fine because when you leave the classified service and you want to get back into the classified, you can cash out that 320.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get back into the classified service, you can't jit the system, right? You have to go through the whole merit process. It's going to be a while before you get back into the classified system. But in the unclassified system, this is where the loophole exists. And this is the loophole that the governor took advantage of in between terms. She allowed her employees to separate for one day and then hired them back the next day, allowing them to cash out their annual leave hours. And so some would say, oh, well, governors are allowed to do that. Previous governors have done that. Yes, previous governors have allowed their employees to cash out their annual leave hours at the end of the 8 years, not in between. So what's going to happen by the end of the 8 years of Lulian Guerrero's administration is that unclassified employee making $10 an hour is going to got to cash out $3,200 in January of 2023, and is going to cash out again at the beginning of January 2027, another $3,200. Essentially, this has been a double cash out.
But if they'd have stayed all the way through the 8, they would have had one cash out, but at twice.
Yeah. And so people are like, didn't previous governors do that? And like, no. Previous governors did not allow a full-blown, all of the staff resign at the end of the first term and come back the next day.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the bureaucracy of doing something like that and the additional headache at the Department of Administration to watch all of that?
That's a question that I asked Chris Papakos and Augustine, and she hasn't answered yet. I'm wondering because they separated, and then they gone back in, so they should have gone through a drug test. So
the whole 9 yards.
Did you guys administer a drug test?
Interesting.
And I don't see how you could if there was only one day in between, because you cannot rejoin government service without passing the drug test. You have to get that form from the lab, and DOA has to clear it. And so how does that happen in one day?
It doesn't.
It doesn't, yeah.
So their hires are they still on probation? That's how I'll put it. They're on probation. That's what's happening. 8:51 and change and finally, because I know how big. Well, there's the conversation about the people over at AdLoop that were able to do this, get that, and the other, and then we've got have we gotten to the ground on why GDOE General Pay Plan people did not get their 22% yet?
So this is what I suspect happened. So the legislature. They have they authorized the general pay plan increases, right? The 22% appropriation.
But with conditions.
Money to be used, and the only way you could use that money is if what do you call it? So if the governor submits this merit bonus plan, et cetera, right? But the legislature has already authorized the governor through the pay plan of 2013, I think it was. To make adjustments to the general pay plan And if the funding already exists to fund or to use that money for the increases, what I suspect happened, and this is why only the line agencies received it, is because the line agencies have surpluses in their budget. There is existing appropriation authority for the governor to have issued those pay raises and for those certifying officers.
Oh, I see. So they had the dough already.
Yes, and so they're just going to wait out until, I don't know, kingdom come, or the governor decides to submit those plans. I don't know what's taking the governor so long with all that stuff, but that's why.
Well, she's working with the governor of the state of Hawaii to make it so that people that come in on the United flight don't have to handle their bags twice. Oh, wait. That was Jesse Lahan. Jesse did that. Sorry. I'm with you. I don't know what's taking her so long. That's kind of amazing. All right. Well, because an adventurous weekend, and I'm so glad that you had an opportunity to type all of that stuff up and put it in your report. And I hope a lot of people read it. It's been available, as has been pointed out a couple of times, on a variety of websites. It's been out there, and it's just a question of, do people care about what's going on in there? And to the degree that anything can be done about it, I don't know.
I mean, it's millions of dollars. I would think people would care about millions of dollars.
You know what? As my, how do you say it before? Is voters sure like to torture themselves here?
No, that's when all the gifts are being planted around election time. But now that all the gifts have run out, all the money's gone, we can go back to being cynical and hating the governor. Right?
8:55. I'll talk to you pretty soon, cuz. You have a great day.
You guys.
888-825-5888-TALK. Always amazing when we get a chance to talk to him. And it's he's got a lot of strings that he can pull, literally, and they're attached to very interesting stories. And maybe because now it is a candid story, then maybe it'll get a whole lot more attention. 8:55. Got time for Ken Leon Guerrero, although Real Joe listed him as Kenny on the call screening software. Kenny LG is like, what is it, like? No. That old God, I hated that song. They played that at all of the brunches and all of the fashion shows. God, it was terrible. Anyway, good morning, Ken. How you doing?
I'm doing just great. And, I'm listening to the show this morning, and your conversation with Troy reminded me of it. I mean, I've had my issues with the Calvo administration, as you may have remembered. But one thing that the Calvo administration did is when they came into power, they started all their line directors and all the autonomous agency directors at step one. And then over the 8 years of their administration, through reviews, they got promoted and moved up to the top of the pay scale, as they should.
Yeah.
And then when Leon Guerrero came in, everybody started at the top of the pay scale, and they've been getting $20,000 to $30,000 pay raises every couple of years.
Happy days are here again.
Yeah, and now they're getting $22,000. I mean, just recently, Roy Restuccio got a $30,000 pay raise, and a bunch of ad loopers got pay raises up to $30,000. Now they're going to get $22,000 on top of that. It reminds me of Angel Sablon.
I don't know that. I don't know that those guys are definitely in the GPP and eligible for that 22%.
There's a way. You'll see. All you have to do is keep watching the reports. Like when Angel Sablon, he went on the first month that Lou was in office, he went to the mayor's council and said, "Look, all these people at Adeluth, they're getting all these pay raises. I need one." And then when you look at his personal actions, he went from like 42,000 to 120-something thousand in a matter of months, And now we're looking at the same thing happening, to the point now, by the time the next governor comes in place, all the agency directors are going to be starting at $500,000.
Yeah, not sure completely about that. It's a little bit wild-eyed of you, but I see the point that you're trying to make here. And for most people, the answer is not outrage. It's, where do I apply?
Yeah, unfortunately. But what we're seeing here is that just keeps driving the exodus, because, when we're looking at places like San Francisco and other cities that have seen dramatic decreases in their tax base and revenue, now the chickens are coming home to roost, because now when you look at San Francisco, for example, they're $800 million short on their sales taxes in the San Francisco area.
Where did it's Illinois is upside down, $1 billion or $2 billion. It's amazing.
Oh,
yeah, for exactly the same reason. It's not that people aren't paying their taxes. They left. They're not there anymore.
And we're seeing the same thing happen in a lot of other cities where the revenues have dropped to the point where, Walmart's going to close 269 stores around the country because they're not meeting revenue projections. And those cities, like, for example, I think Chicago is losing 4 Walmarts.
Well, I think it's a combination of things. They're not meeting the revenue expectations, and their expenses and theft and insurance that they've got to pay for their employees to keep coming to work, and only to get shot in the face. The people are just saying, "No, we don't need to do that anymore in this city. We'll go find someplace where it's sane and where they have a police force that is funded and district attorneys that know their job." I think there's significant opportunities for that all over a number of red states in the United States of America.
Well, we're seeing the same thing here too. The crime rate keeps going up, and despite the governor's protestation that the people of Guam are safer than they've ever been before, not a single day goes by that we don't see about a meth drug bust and weapons involved and all kinds of things like that, to the point where people who normally wouldn't have considered buying a firearm are buying a firearm.
Absolutely.
We have not dramatically increased the police department yet. Over at Guam Memorial Hospital, I think there's like 400 limited-term employees within the first year of the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration. Why couldn't we have taken that money and put another 100 police officers on the street?
Well, I wish it was as simple as that. I wish I had more time. Somebody wants me to ask you about what you think of Troy's GVB report. Give it some thought. Call me back on the other side of the news.
You got it.
All right, Kenley and Guerrero on The Ray Gibson Show. And now Fox News Live on The Ray Gibson Show. Stand by. We're KUSG. I got you 93.3. Pika's best.
Hoping friends will turn him in. I'm Joe Chiro, Fox News. A manhunt continues in Texas for the suspect who allegedly shot and killed 5 people Friday night. A combined $80,000 reward is being offered for information leading to the arrest of 38-year-old Francisco Oropeza. FBI Houston Special Agent in charge, James Smith, says they still have no leads, but hope the reward will help.
I pretty much can guarantee you he's contacted some of his friends. We just don't know what friends they are. And that's what we need from the public, is any type of information, because right now we're running into dead ends.
All the victims were from Honduras, and the foreign minister of that country has been in contact with authorities in Texas. Now that President Biden has announced he will run for the White House in 2024, many Democratic lawmakers are lining up in support of him. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen is among them and talked about it on Fox News Sunday.
I think people should judge presidents on their performance and their record, not on their age. And the president has a great record. I talked about some of the economic factors. He's also been one of the most productive presidents in recent history when it comes to a legislative record.
The 80-year-old Biden is considered the nation's oldest serving president. Heavy rain has been pummeling much of the East Coast. Fox weather meteorologist Adam Klotz.
Consistent rain showers throughout the entire week, and plenty of spots have seen well up over 3 inches. Still widespread showers back from the Midwest, running into the Mid-Atlantic, and the heaviest rain from the Mid-Atlantic still lingering up into New England. We've seen plenty of places getting up to 3 to 4 inches of rain, particularly in the Mid-Atlantic and stretching up into New England.
More rain is expected for the Northeast. A backcountry skier was buried and killed by an avalanche near Colorado's Breckenridge Ski Resort. Officials believe the avalanche may have occurred yesterday. America is listening to Fox News.
Subway's new Subway Series menu is a collection of greatest hits. But my number 7, the Mexicali, is on a whole nother level with the way avocado meets chicken and pepper jack cheese.
Outlaw! You tell them, Raiden. That's the number 2, the Outlaw Sandwich. They don't know flavor.
It's the greatest cheesesteak hit with juicy steak, pepper jack, and Baja Chipotle sauce. There's a better mean cheese pairing than that. Shanzi, justify my point, please.
Meatball, pepperoni, and mozzarella. That's number 6, the Boss Sandwich, because we're the bosses of flavor. We're done here.
At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
Are you looking for a quick, easy, and affordable way to get the legal documents you need? It's Pro Se 101. ProSay 101 allows you to create legally binding documents for a variety of situations without spending a fortune. Guardianship creation, name changes, power of attorneys, wills, trusts, and more. Call 800-303-9240 to get the help you need. That's 800-303-9240 or visit PROSE101.com. Don't waste time or money.
Western Hemisphere business, trade, and political leaders meet in Washington this week to discuss shifts in the region. Fox's Jared Halpern has more from the White House.
The Washington Conference on the Americas aims to put a focus on what organizers call opportunities in a new global reality. The event on Tuesday will feature several Biden administration officials, including the U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai and the Deputy Energy Secretary David Turk. Panama's president is scheduled to speak, so too is the leader of the World Bank, and U.S. Senators Bill Cassidy of Louisiana and Bill Hagerty of Tennessee. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Not everyone seeking the Republican nomination for the presidency wants to fully stop development of artificial intelligence. Fox's Evan Brown reports.
The quick development of artificial intelligence, such as ChatGPT and Google's Bard, has tech magnate Elon Musk calling for a pause in the technology's development so world governments can develop policy to regulate it. But Republican presidential hopeful Vivek Ramaswamy says it can't be one-sided.
We can't just do that in the United States if China doesn't do the same thing. So a temporary pause amongst U.S. companies, if China's actually running forward with it, that doesn't do anything.
Ramaswamy says keeping a competitive edge on China is crucial. Otherwise, China's AI could become a global standard. Eben Brown, Fox News.
The mayor of Portland, Oregon, speaking out about the issues facing his city. Mayor Ted Wheeler on Fox's Cross Country with Lawrence Jones.
The experiences we're having around housing, around homelessness, around public safety, around drug addiction, a lot of these are representative of upstream failures.
Mayor Wheeler said one necessity is the allocation of more funds for drug treatment, and he stood by his commitment to address issues such as homelessness, crime, and drugs. I'm Joe Chiro, Fox News.
Do you experience foot and ankle problems that make it difficult to move forward in life? If so, Guam Regional Medical City is here to help you get back on your feet. At GRMC, our podiatry clinic aims to provide exceptional treatments for diabetes, ingrown nails, arthritis, corns, foot and ankle injuries, and much more. To learn more, contact GRMC's referral office at 671-633-GRMC. That's 671-633-4762.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
KFC's $5 breakfast deals are the best and most affordable ways to start your day. The Colonel's Chicken and Rice Bowl, $5. Chicken fried steak, $5. Sausage, biscuit, and gravy, $5. And they all come with a fresh coffee. KFC $5 breakfast deals are served starting at 6 a.m. daily at your favorite KFC restaurant. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
This The Ray Gibson Show is being brought to you by the guys over at APL American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. And I got word, sadly, the Frontier season is done. Hope everybody got a test drive. I'll find out who won that $1,000 to see if I can get that information for you. You might be wondering, what's the next big deal? Oh, well, I know how to find out. NissanGuam.com on the World Wide Web. You can find everything that you need to know about all kinds of fantastic rides that they've got and the way they're putting together deals as we get closer and closer to car buying season. You know what starts car buying season? Mother's Day. Okay, wait. Even before that, graduation. What's a great way to tell your kid that you think they did a great job in school? And please don't leave and go off to college and never come back. Here's a car. What? It happens. You're trapped now. Mom got you a car for graduation. You can't leave for at least 4 years. So you got that. Father's Day's coming up. Every opportunity out there. Here, I'll give you another one. My friend Ryan Harrison sent me some pictures over the weekend. They had the big awards ceremony for the science fair. And Ryan's daughter won it. So congratulations. There she is with a trophy almost as big as she is. Congratulations. And she got that with a little bit of help from some of her groovy uncles over in the bee community here on Guam, including Dennis Larson, it says. Hold on a second. Dennis Larson, Paul Packbeer, Rod Janeno. They really helped out as mentors for my daughter's science project. And don't forget, May the 20th is B-Day at Pirates Cove. Thanks to all of us here at the Point, absolutely supporting everything that these guys are doing. I'm one of those guys, science. I love science. And we start talking about critters out there that have done right for the planet. And I got to say, as many times as it would hurt me when I was a little boy and would get stung by a bee behind Grandma's house, today I forgive them for that. Because that's what makes the flowers in the trees get pollinated, and those turn into mangoes and avocados, like over at Kenley and Guerrero's house, and any number of other things that the bees give us in exchange for just being parts of the planet here. They got honey, and there's wax. What else do the bees make? The honeycombs. And bees make
boobies,
catalytic converters. For cars. A little known fact about them. Hey, are we done? Did we already play the music that gets me back in? Do you remember?
No, we haven't.
Oh, let's do that fast.
Morning talk that matters. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Do I have permission to frisk you? No, I want a female officer to frisk me. Lucky for you, I identify as a female cop. Why not? Welcome to California. I got to be careful. Shelly's listening in Malibu with the girls. They're going to go, when did Raymond become his father? I don't know. It's been a while. What can I say? 888-825-5888-TALK. That's my phone number, ladies and gentlemen. The meme machine is online and absolutely crazy here with all kinds of commentary, interesting memes. There's a picture of a rifle on this one. It says, you don't need 30 rounds to hunt. Correct, but the Second Amendment was not written in case the deer turn against us. Yeah. So it's a little snippets of the way certain people view the life and the world in these almost agonizing times that we live in. Studies now show the most expensive vehicle to operate is a grocery store shopping cart. But a bump. Why don't the 99% of us who aren't offended by anything quit catering to the 1% who are? Oh my God. Well, I don't know. See, I gotta be careful because there are a group of woke whiners out there for which that are offended by everything. But come on, there's the rest of us. And did we not go a little bit hair on fire when the boy that dresses like a girl got his face on a can of Bud Light?
Oh yeah.
Come on, just admit it. Admit we're capable of being offended as well. But there's a certain level of being offended, right? There's you're just offended, and there's people that just get pissed off about everything. And then there's the people that, yeah, you've offended me, and I am erasing you from my world. There was a bar in the States, I forget which one it is. I might find, I think Jose sent me a link out to this story on the Facebooks and on Instagrams. There it is. A business that doesn't understand markets. There it is. Daily Wire has the story. The bar that booted customers who complained about the Bud Light trans controversy is now begging to get their customers back.
Oh,
yeah, there's more to the story than just the headline. And normally I'd urge you to read the headlines, but I know some of you are just as lazy as I am. But this one here, I actually did make it through a little bit of the story, and it is a bar. And all they wanted to do was kind of quell. I'm sorry. The way they are saying what they were trying to do was they were just trying to quell the conversation, saying, "Look, we should not be discussing crap like this in a bar. So and if things get testy, we're going to ask you to pay your tab and then split. We don't need your business
you
anymore."
Didn't say that word.
Well,
right?
they were quell. I said
okay.
quell.
No, you said testy.
Oh, testy?
Yeah,
no.
that's not.
But anyway, so okay. Can we just drink? Okay, that's what they tried to make it look like. But everybody else, read between the lines and said, no, you guys were saying that you didn't want us talking about this in your bar, and if we did, you were going to kick us out. Like we don't have an opinion. You have no say. You have no say. And you know what happened after the bar owner said that? People stopped going to their damn bar. It's just, okay, if that's the way you're going to be, we don't want to go here anymore. And now their following Facebook stories have been more in line of asking people to return or can you be our new customers because we screwed up and we lost our old ones.
Let's move back and start from the beginning, right?
Let's reset.
Yeah.
Start anew.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I don't know. So you know what? I know how to fix this. It involves a couple of gallons of gasoline and a match, and we'll just burn the place over and start all over again. Now under new management. It is an insane world that we live in, is it not? And it grows more insane as each minute goes by. We are within about 10 days. My birthday, in fact, on the mainland, is when they're going to end the national emergency, the national public health emergency over COVID-19 finally.
Is that a gift from Biden to you?
That is a gift from Biden to me. Probably could have been done about a year ago, but I don't know. The big pharma's not done making millions and millions a minute from the American taxpayers. At any rate, but there's an opportunity here for them to completely just go back to the drawing board, start all over again. But they don't want to. What they've decided that they want to do here is continue asking people before they come into the United States that they've got to be vaccinated. It's a new ruling from the CDC. At least it reported to look that way when I saw it on the internet, and rolled my eyes and went to line one. Ken, I see you there on two, but I want to bring Dave Sablon into the conversation. We'd earlier talked to Tom Fisher, was in the studio in one of those very rare before 8 o'clock interviews that we did with him, because I wanted to hear from him a little bit more about this piece of legislation that he and Tina Rose Munya-Barnes have proposed in the 37th Guam legislature. It's legislation that would provide for a referenda. Maybe not the right word to use, I guess, legally, but it would provide you decide is what he's calling it, where the people of Guam will determine where they want to go on the, as I said, people choke on it just on the title, to decide on reproductive rights. And that's where I kind of rolled my eyes at the start of the legislation, saying I'm not so sure about this. Also read an article in today's Guam Daily Post featuring my very close, very dear personal friend and renowned smart guy, Dave Sablon. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Ray. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I don't think maybe it wasn't today's paper. I think maybe it was Sunday's paper. Where
Sunday's
they found you and Vanessa Williams, and interestingly enough, the thing that you both agree on is that no on referendum. Bust that referendum.
Yeah, there's no need for that because if we wait for Doug Moylan's appeal to go through the process, the previous law, that Doug is trying to work on and remove the injunction on.
Right, Bill Ariola's law.
Have a provision for, Bell's law has a referendum provision in there for the next election. So if he moves that off the shelf and codifies it into the Guam law, then a referendum could take place a year later. So we don't need this thing that Tom and Tina put together. It really is a flawed bill, by the way. I have a tremendous disagreements with some of the intents and findings that were listed, in the preface of the law, or the bill, I should say, or proposed bill. Anyway,
he disagrees with Dobbs.
Well, apparently, but Dobbs is the law of the land now.
It says the Supreme Court issued a decision that overturned half a century of precedent and held that abortion is not a constitutional right, as the Constitution does not mention it, and the right was, quote, not deeply rooted in the country's history. Although I think there might be precedent to dispute that as well. I think some of that was even brought up in the supporting arguments at the Supreme Court.
Yeah, it is in a constitution, right? It's not listed anywhere in the Constitution. I think they tried to make it something out of the 14th Amendment.
14th Amendment, yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't. If you read the 14th Amendment, there's no connection to to this issue regarding Roe v. Wade on abortion. There's no connection. It's 14th Amendment, as I understand it, is privileges and rights that are given to people equally across the board. Well, abortion is basically one sex only. So where's the equality of this thing if you want to go into that arena? But the point here being, it is not a constitutional right, but the Dobbs decision gave it to the states to deal with, and that's what's happening right now. And so in Guam, we have this public law that's already been passed unanimously, by the way. 21 senators at the time in 1990 voted for it, signed into law by Governor Joseph Ada. So you got the whole island basically supporting that law. We just have to remove the injunction, and then this referendum, so be it, is in the provision of the law, can happen in the next election.
Right.
Now, on this issue with the referendum, if you look at the Guam Daily Post today, did you notice there was a poll there about whether people agree with abortion or not? 60%, it's unscientific, I'll admit that. Okay, but 60% said we oppose abortion. And yet the bill that Tom and Tina introduced basically says, many citizens of Guam approve of abortion services or abortion rights. That's not true. Well,
maybe they said many people that we talk to at the food court.
I corrected that in the news article. You notice I said that more correctly, a minority of people approve abortion.
Getting back to the Supreme Court ruling, did not Ruth Bader Ginsburg also say once upon a time that the 14th Amendment was not the right argument to make?
I believe so, and that's exactly what the Dobbs decision also stated.
So there's obviously a little bit of historical stuff. One of the arguments that I'm hearing about, and others outside of I think the folks over at Jungle Watch, are opining that we elected the 15 members of the 37th Guam legislature to deal with issues on our behalf like this. Your thoughts on trusting this incredible decision to just the 15 over at the legislature? And I'm again, disclose, I've spent most of the last month or so rooting for the powers of the second branch, equal branch of government on Guam. Having said all that, would I trust the majority of them to hold my wallet? And the answer is a sound and loud no. I don't trust them to make those kind of decisions. Do we trust them with the lives of these babies?
That's a difficult question for me to answer, but I think the issue here is that we all should protect the lives of these babies. Whether there's trust in the 15 senators in the legislature to do that effectively, I would say you better. That we should stop playing God here and deciding who's to live and who's to die. This is what is happening with abortion, is that people are deciding, that a developing human being in the womb of a mother. If you notice that a lot of these about a developing baby and the term mother, it's always a woman's body or a fetal mass that's developing in the female's in a woman's body.
I'm sorry, it's an aside, but whoever wrote the legislation that is proposed in this, the Health Protection Act of 2023, it's already shrouded in wokeism. They don't refer to them as women. Abortion access allows, quote, people who are pregnant to make their own decisions about. Look, they're women. Only women can get pregnant. You cannot manipulate the language to make it so anybody can get pregnant. No, only women can get pregnant. For heaven's sakes.
Exactly.
Own it. The health of a person who is pregnant.
You go one step further, and if they're pregnant, they are potentially a mother.
No, we can't have that. No, so woke people won't.
And so the point here I'm making, really, Ray, to compare, is that the closer you come to the terms of baby, developing baby, motherhood, you start to see the evilness and the ugliness of abortion. So they stray away from that and go to the other extreme: woman's body, a fetal mass.
Person who is pregnant.
They don't even bring person into the picture, because that brings it more or less to the middle part of that scale.
Well, they did in the findings and intent on the proposed legislation. That's another problem that I've got with this is that if the referendum is successful and they're determining success is we got enough votes on the referendum to push this Health Protection Act and make it the law. And I'm going, wait a second, it automatically defaults to law that takes lives?
Yes. In fact, I brought that up in the interview with the reporter. Is that how can you say that healthcare, abortion is healthcare when it involves the murder of a developing child? You know, you can't say that's healthcare. Well, then they say, well, it's the healthcare for the mother, you know, or the woman, or the female,
or the person of pregnancy.
Yeah, you can go ahead and use all the terms you want, but it doesn't change the fact that that's what you're doing. You know, you're eliminating the life of a developing baby in a mother's womb. And sometimes when these individuals, you know, these ladies or these quote unquote potential mothers, if they can just go through the whole birth process, there are others that will be gladly ready to adopt that child.
Oh my God! I can tell you, I've got personal experience with this. A couple that I knew that was having a hard time conceiving on their own. Get a call out of the blue from Tom Shea. This would be 20 years ago now, 21 years ago, and he had a young lady that thankfully decided to take the child to term, delivered the baby, and said, okay, let's put her up for adoption. That baby was without a family for almost 5 minutes. He said the baby in hand, got the baby out of the womb, and then called the family and said, I've got another child. Would you consider adopting it? And the answer was yes. And that kid has gone on to enjoy a terrific life and lifestyle in Hawaii. I believe we'll be embarking on her second year of college now. And as far as she's concerned,
what a fantastic story! What a fantastic story that is. You know,
I wish I knew more stories like that. There are a couple of asides that are in my head now. I hope you don't mind, Dave. I think for the most part, you're probably preaching to the choir.
Show, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. I hate to interrupt you during my show, but there's a couple of things that are swimming around in my head. One of them that I asked lawyer Tom Fisher about was, they talk about their stages and timing that the pro-abortionists always put out there. Well, it's 15 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever, and I'm going, well, okay, well, what's the legal precedent? So if there is a guy, and I use this as an example, that goes to somebody's house, a person who is pregnant's house, and kills the mother and the baby, at which point do the two become two separate homicides, one on the mother and another on the baby? And I don't know what the language is in Guam law. Is there a threshold, or if it is known that the mother is pregnant with child, or is it within 6 weeks or 15 weeks? What is the language that we use here to invoke a double murder?
I don't think there's any language whatsoever. When it's found that there is a developing human in that, mother's womb, that's a double murder already.
Yeah, regardless of any kind of timeline. I mean, there's going to be the medical examiner will say, oh, by the way, she was pregnant.
Then, okay, there's two charges of murder in the first degree or whatever degree it is.
Does it matter whether it was the product of incest or rape?
It doesn't matter. The act of incest and rape, in the religious sense is a sin, okay? But the fact that the baby is developing that's an innocent child. That is definitely a product of something that was wrong, religiously speaking. But when it's born, as you gave that example of that young child that was adopted within 5 minutes after the girl delivered, and is now a very very good person going through college in Hawaii. I mean, that's the way it should be.
Oh no, she was raised in Hawaii. She's going to good schools.
Eliminating, I probably shouldn't use the word we, but why are these pro-abortionists wanting to eliminate the future of our island? I mean, in Japan right now, they're worried because, and I think even in China, maybe in the next 2-3 decades, they're going to have a bunch of old people because they didn't have enough young people to take over these things that have to be continuing, into anybody's future.
Yeah,
And so now
absolute
they're-
economic calamity.
That's what's happening. Yeah. And I think the Bell Areola discussion back in 1990 in that legislature, she came out very strongly and said, this is the future of our island. And I think Tim Rohr did some statistical review. It was like 600 babies a year before we realized that we got to do something about this. We're being aborted.
So
600 babies a year. Can you imagine that?
There is an ad that runs on one of the overnight shows, one of the right-wing bomb-throwing shows that we run here. And it makes reference, I'm trying to remember the last time I heard it, makes reference to a program where they take young pregnant women, teenagers maybe, find themselves on the wrong side of it, and takes them for a 4D ultrasound. This group pays for the 4D ultrasound. And so when there's a young lady that has got a question and one of the options might be aborting the baby, then they say, okay, well, you can still make whatever decision you want to make. But before we do that, let's go here. Now, I remember it was August the 25th, just a couple of months shy of my daughter being born. And me and the coffee wife went over to, what's his name's place? Radiology, Berg's place, and they had just gotten one of these 4D ultrasound. Oh my God, they had just gotten one of these 4D ultrasound machines, and I count that as the day that I met my daughter, because the images that were coming off of the screen were just so clear. It was obvious that there was a human life in there, just itching to get out and meet all of the rest of us. And I've got to imagine that you take that kind of technological magic that can see inside of a woman's belly, and to her it might just be a quote clump of tissue, but when they look at the face, when they can see the lips, when they can look at the fingers moving around and grabbing,
moving around, right?
Yeah, moving. I just gotta
kicking,
yes,
kicking the mother's womb.
It has got to be one of those things where you go, you know what? Changed my mind.
It's a joyful moment, Ray. It's a joyful moment.
My little girl's graduating from academy next week, so I'm going to be getting these gushy moments every once in a while, and that's one of them. 9:29. All right, so I think you and I are on the same page with regard to 106-37. I think it's going to be an interesting firefight over at the legislature, public hearings, and I think it will draw a line down. Some will say, well, Ray, it's bipartisan. Tom's a Republican, and Tina Rose is a Democrat.
It doesn't matter. The bill's bad. Period.
There we go.
Who cares? Who cares who introduced it? It's bad. Period.
Yeah. One other subject for you before I let you go, and promise, sure. Ken, you're welcome to call back again because I did want to get your thoughts. Guam Solid Waste Authority last week took out an ad. It's a public notice, and I'll put it up on the screen so people can see what I'm talking about. They are proposing rate changes to their rates soon. And I think this is announcing its intention to submit proposed rate changes through its 5-year financing plan to the Public Utilities Commission. So there's an obligation to get out with those rates. Now, you and I are residential customers, and they are proposing that next year, actually starting in the next fiscal year, they want to go to $35 a month. The following month, the following fiscal year, it will be $40 a month. In FY 2026, they will peak at $42 per month. This is residential rates now for trash collection. And then in 27, they'll go back down to $40. And in FY 28, they'll stabilize at $38 a month for residential trash collection. There's similar hikes in the prices for commercial rates, governmental rates, and things like that. And I you're a solid waste guy. You understand the concept here. And I'm going, it's already too expensive for a lot of people. That $30 a month that we're paying is already too high, and they're proposing increases all the way to $42. What are we going to do about that, Dave?
We have to burn the trash. We have to burn it, and I think the cost would be, what do you call that? There would be some mitigation in regards to what we're paying now. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I have a request into the governor's office to meet with her if I can. She wrote back to me and said that I'm going to be off island for the month of May.
Yeah.
But I say, well, when you get back, I think we should meet to discuss this. I'm not trying to be adversarial here. I'm trying to do what I think is best for the island, and I want to offer this idea. And it has nothing to do with the government other than for the government to bring the trash so we can burn it and create electricity. And the military is prepared to piggyback on that as well. And I've got all of these requests to get it done. I have companies that are willing to build the plant, and we signed non-disclosure agreements already. And I have to decide which one I'm going to choose. So that's where we are right now. The government may not even have to be involved in any of the financing, even though the agreement says that you got to help us to at least get a triple tax exemption if we have to sell a bond on the New York market.
Which is already provided for in law.
There's any debt to the government.
Right, but that's already provided for in, I forget what it's called, the PNCs or whatever.
Well, at this point here now, we just need the governor to sign off on this amended agreement between us and the government to bring the trash to the facility, because of the fact that there is a provision in the old contract that basically stated, you can't contract the prerogative of the legislature to pay the debts of the government. And so we had something in there that, liquidated damages if they didn't perform or they defaulted, the government would have to pay. Supreme Court basically said in an appeal by Senator Ben Pangilinan at the time, the Supreme Court basically came down and said, that has money involved, and therefore money is integral to a contract, and therefore it has to remain there. But what the Supreme Court basically did, the silver lining in that decision, was that you can take that, provision out, rewrite that provision in terms of, giving the legislature the authority to pay the debt of the government, and then you'd have a good contract. And in fact, Doug Moylan, did you notice that he used that decision of the court in what he was doing with the Eagle Field negotiations with the Navy?
I did.
That the legislature has to be involved. And so we went into mediation because we were ordered by the court to go into mediation, and that's what we came out with. That, we will, if there's any liquidated damages on the part of the government that has to be paid to GRRP or any kind of penalties, then we would put a bill before the legislature to get it paid. And of course, the legislature will look at it in terms of an obligation, but the process of payment of any debt of the government or any penalties has to go through that legislative process. And so that's in the agreement that we amended, and I'm just waiting for the governor to sign off on it. And then these companies, one of them at least we will decide on, will come in and work with me to build this, and I will still be involved to the point of making sure that it doesn't affect the people in any negative way.
Man, this town could get so clean so fast.
Yes. Ray, there was a statistics that showed that at the time when the order dump was still effective, we had a scale up there. There was over 600 tons of solid waste that was delivered up there, in that period of time when they were still operating. And so, someone told me, said, well, there's a lot of it was, waste from construction and all of that. Okay, so take that out. You're still talking at about probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 500 tons a day. And yet down at Luzon, we're only bringing in about 300 tons. What happened? There's no deduction in population here in Guam. If it was a very small deduction. But yet we're going to have more coming in with the military. So we've got 5,000 troops coming in, and then probably another 25,000 support personnel, families that would be coming in with it. We're going to have a lot more people here. We cannot afford to sustain a landfill-only operation to manage our solid waste.
Well, we're going to run out of room for the cells before too much longer, and the more people that we have here, the faster that's going to happen, which means the faster we're going to have to come up with funds to be able to build those cells. I say avoid it, as we probably should have done earlier in the conversation.
And one other thing too, Ray, people that are so concerned with our environment, they should be helping in moving this project forward, simply because you go down to the rivers. There's 7 rivers down around that area in Luzon, and you can smell, the leachate that is just flowing when we get too much rain. It just overflows into the rivers from the dump, from the
It's not supposed to be.
So to speak.
I thought they were
not supposed to be.
Yeah, I thought they were supposed to mitigate any of that, so because otherwise it's the same injury that got us into this in the first place.
Yeah, they probably should have changed their amount of rainfall per year, and instead of 120, which seems to be the normal, probably go up to 150 and built it deeper.
Yeah, climate change.
They can't go deeper, by the way. They can't go deeper because they'll hit groundwater too. So these are environmental issues that have to be protected. And I haven't seen anybody trying to say, let's work with Dave Sablon, let's work with GRP to get this project moving so that we can manage our trash, better than the way it is now.
Call Chris Barnett. He seems to be able to get
about cost.
Yeah, find Chris Barnett and cousin Troy. They seem to be able to get things going here. I got to run, Dave. It's always fun talking with you. Have a fantastic day, and I appreciate the first part of the conversation as much as the second. As you said, I think it's an interesting bill. You say it's a bad bill. I think we're both right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
I promise I will. It's 9:37 on the Ray Gibson Show, 888-8255, 888-TALK. I'll bet she's got good news for me. I'll bet she's calling in and will give me a round of earned criticism for not showing up to watch the Bulgarian hot women dance.
Sure, I do.
I hurt my back. I did. I had one of those old man moments. I went to the treadmill and I ran my 5K and I was feeling pretty good about that. And then I sat down and I don't know. It's too many birthdays or just God's reminding me that I am a frail man. And I sat down and I hurt my back. So I didn't hardly do anything.
It's okay. You can watch some of the highlights on my Facebook wall. They're really cool.
Right on.
I'm glad. I was able to host my countrymen, and they had a wonderful experience. But that's not why I'm calling. That's not why I'm calling. We have a senator who kind of manages to make waves and stir up the pot. For me personally, one bill, and then the new bill that I'm looking at. I can't believe in front of me that this actually came out of a Republican representative. He's placing the term pregnant people. I am absolutely disgusted. And
you saw it too. You saw it too. It's not the first thing that caught my eye. The first thing that caught my eye was talking about reproductive rights and the name of the act that is going to become the law of the land if this is to pass is the Health Protection Act, which makes references to people who are pregnant, women, mothers. Pregnant mothers.
There's so many things in the bill that has, the typical lingo, because right now, Ray, as you know, we're living in this cultural war, and unfortunately we're caught up not only in the terminology that's being, constantly propagated in our minds, but it's just the thing that I'm witnessing here is we're starting to become species with split personalities. I mean, I don't know if you understand the real meaning of diabolical. It's something that I see it more and more every day. I recently came across this wonderful sermon by Bishop Fulton Sheen. This guy was preaching about the things that we're seeing today as if he is living in today. That was 50 years ago. And when he explained what diabolical means, it broke my heart because I'm witnessing it on the daily. It means diabolos. We are splitting away ourselves from the divine, and that devil that we talk about is basically trying to destroy everything that is good: the love for God, the love for family, and the love for your neighbor. I mean, these are the three principles that pretty much are embedded in the mind and the hearts of any patriotic American to start with. And then, of course, the Republican Party is taking it in.
But America's bad, and it's a whole culture. Everything about America is built on slavery, so it's bad.
Absolutely, because the culture war that's been imposed on us, it's not officially declared. It's aimed to tear apart a society by taking away the principles of any moral compass. I mean, since when is it okay to commit a murder? I mean, even let's say that there's the argument, okay, rape and incest. I personally was kind of split on that. What about, if we're talking about minor children or, women that are violated? That's also an argument. But in essence, what this so-called reproductive rights, it's written so cleverly, by some clever lawyers. I'm not talking about our lawyers here. I'm talking about the people that are pulling the strings out there, behind the veil. They're so clever. Just like it kind of really tells you that the more we attack the family, the more we split the family unit, the more this society is headed full throttle to a collapse. And that is happening. I mean, look at that. Back in the day, even in the black families in America, you see a mother and a father. There was no this ghetto culture. People were polite. People were respectful towards one another. They weren't killing each other in droves. And what is happening now? The state married the women because the father got pulled out of the picture. I mean, everything, it just lines up really with that diabolical meaning of things where we're taking away the goodness from people. I'm just sick and tired of listening to the complete nonsense that we're being bombarded every day. And I'm really disappointed this is a bipartisan bill. I mean, I would have accepted it as a fact. It was just, a Democrat issue. But to me, it just doesn't sit well with me as a representative of the Republican Party.
Well,
what is next? What is next? I think I mentioned to you that just
bestiality.
March
Well,
8th,
just do bestiality. You can marry your dog if you want to. You love your dog? You really love your dog? You can marry the dog.
Listen, the 8th of March principle that was published on March 8th, which is the International Women's Day, that principle from the United Nations, it's a real document, and it talks about not only sexual reproductive health and rights, it talks about consensual sexual activities with adolescents. The more they're trying to normalize this thing, the more widely accepted.
Pedophilia. There's pedophilia. There's a big thing. There's the conversations now about what is it? Youth attracted. They're trying to make it sound. You're right. They use deceitful. The word isn't clever, says Jose. The word is deceitful. They're trying to normalize the sound of youth attracted persons. No. There's a line here somewhere. There's a line, and no matter.
There's a big wall. If you ask me, not a line. To me, it's a wall. But we, the people, need to be diligent. And we need to pay attention. We need to open our eyes and really look what's happening, because if people here on Guam think that this thing is not coming, just wait, it's already here.
It's
already here.
We see the evidence of it, and unfortunately, you gotta, if you don't see it, I'm gonna do my social media plug again, because I am all about social media, and there are things that you will see that are happening in the States that literally are a music video away from coming out here and impacting and affecting our kids. There was a video that I saw of a full-grown man boy in a high school that attacked a woman, a girl, that a classmate of his, because she had the temerity to say he could not use her restroom. They could not shower together. He says, well, I identify as a girl. And she said, no, get out of this woman's space. You don't belong here. You're a boy. I don't want to see your genitals when I'm taking a shower after PE. I don't want to worry that there is a man in the bathroom when I'm trying to use the bathroom. And for having the guts to stand up to that, this girl was absolutely beaten by this boy who could not be controlled. There's something wrong where we say, no, this is okay. We're going to be all right. This is a little boy that thinks he's a girl. We'll go ahead and along with this fantasy. Now, the other part of this is another interesting piece of observation. I haven't read the complete article, but there was a headline floating around that is beginning to show that for everybody out there, for all these people that are having issues with their gender identity, there is a parent, usually a mother, that is undergoing some degree of mental instability on themselves, and what do they call it, a Munchausen proxy or something like that?
Yes, that's true, and we're seeing more and more mental problems. Our mental health is going berserk. I mean, we've seen a shot of gender dysphoria cases, and that just happened after 2020. I was looking at some charts, and oh my gosh, the diagnoses that came out in 2021 and 2022 double the rate. I mean, if this is not a crisis, a mental health crisis, I don't know what it is. And unfortunately, our children, since they're so susceptible to any kind of manipulation, even, looking that propaganda that's being blasted on not TikTok only, but Instagram, and it's becoming a mainstream pop culture. these kids are being not only traumatized, they're being destroyed mentally by all of that nonsense. And sometimes the parents, I mean, look at other countries.
Can you see the video screen?
Able to take care of that. I mean, I saw a video in Germany where a Muslim couple, Muslims are very conservative.
Oh yeah. The kid was taken.
Yeah, they took away the kid. This is coming to you folks. If we're not vigilant, we need to not allow this thing to ever happen. I mean, it's up to us, the people, to go lobby and talk to senators, talk to our representatives, because we live on an island where our culture was extremely conservative in a sense that we love our family and we love our women, and we right now what we're doing, we're basically stripping away the womanhood out of women. And if I see a bill on local level that tells me a pregnant person, literally, I want to go and slap someone.
I know. I told you I knew where everybody was going to grumble on this. Can you see the video screen where you are?
Not right now.
Okay, I'll send you a copy of the graphic. Statista has conducted a study, and they have found that it is 7% of the U.S. adults identify as LGBT. Going back to 2014, the numbers were not that high when they were talking about baby boomers, Gen Xers, and millennials. Since 2020, since Gen Zers have been part of the statistical makeup, they saw in 2020 15% of them are identifying as LGBTQ, 19.7% in 2022, and you might be able to guess that number is probably going to be even higher than that when they're done with the 2023 numbers. So there is something going on, and the grooming of these younger generations, going back to the millennials and now the Generation Zs, that are being exposed to, as Jose says, some fairly interesting language, and have no longer have a foundation of what is right or wrong, real or fantasy, for which to anchor themselves.
That is it, and it's being perpetuated and fueled by the policies and the media statements and the normalization of those things. I mean, when you and I were growing up, that wasn't an issue. I personally have absolutely no issue with anyone that is over 21 and wants to do their thing. If you want to pretend that you're a girl, go ahead. That's your thing. That's your right, okay? But when the kids are involved, that's when I draw the wall, not the line. Because the children need my protection, your protection, their grandparents' protection. Our family unit needs to protect the children. When the children are old enough to understand what's right and wrong, then they can make the decision. Crippling young kids, absolutely not.
Removing perfectly healthy breasts from girls because somebody else with dysphoria said, well, it's okay, maybe you're really a boy, but we can make you a real boy, like Pinocchio.
Yeah, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you actually listen to actual transitioners who now detransition, the horrible stories that you hear from that side, which stories unfortunately are being silenced. Even they're the ones now that are receiving the threats. Don't talk about this because this is not true. But if you hear what they have to say about their health problems, you will think twice as a parent. I mean, even under threat of jail, I'm gonna probably go hide in the jungle if it means to save my child. This is crazy.
Absolutely. The things that we are seeing. We need more loud women like you. That we need to have more loud women like you that can get out there, because nobody listens to old white guys anymore, right? So I mean, I'm sorry, I'm an old straight white guy. Nobody pays any attention to what we've got to say. So if you find the need to protect, in the very least, protect other women from these guys in sports. And guys that feel like it's appropriate for them to go into your women's spaces and try to occupy them, even including spokespersons. I'm sorry, I got to say this about Dylan Mulvaney, a savvy marketer, but this guy is putting real women out of business.
Absolutely, very savvy marketer, and I'm absolutely certain that he knows what he's doing. And unfortunately, the gullible minds, the people that like to put flags with every happening on their Facebook wall are buying it. They're eating it like hotcake.
Crazy.
Whatever he's selling.
Right.
Yeah, not me though, not me. Absolutely not.
Bistra, Rusanova, Mendiola. Somebody's asking online, who is this lady? We don't hear from her very often, but apparently there have been buttons that were pushed here this morning as a result of Tom Fisher coming in. And who knows, maybe in the next election we get Tom out and you in. What do you say?
Well, it's God's will. Whatever happens, happens. But I'm here. I hear everything. I watch what's happening, and I do take notes. I encourage everyone to take notes because we can do a great job on one bill, but on the next one we may completely fail the people. And I'm here to do the balance.
Yeah, well, you got the number. Don't ever be shy about calling in. 952. Keep up the fight. 888-8255. 888-TALK. Hug and a kiss to TJ, would you?
Yeah, I will.
All right, and those incredible kids of yours. What do you say? Was it a hell of a way to start off the week? Oh,
wow, yeah.
I thought the candid story on why the board wants to kick out Carl, I thought that would be the big thing. But as it turns out, a couple of live minutes with Tom Fisher, Senator Tom Fisher, and, the professional respect, courtesies, all due respect, and things like that. I think we're going to agree to disagree on this particular measure that they're moving through the legislature. I can't find anything in there that I like, that I'm passionate about. Not the first time that we've disagreed. I'm not crazy about his kill all the vape thing. I know too many vapors that were able to get off of nicotine and smoking cigarettes all the time. And yeah, sure, many of them went on to get in their vape and never did get around to quitting cigarettes. But maybe it's a safer alternative. I know there's going to be people who say, Ray, there's no such thing as a safe cigarette. Just quit like you did. Oh my God! Can I tell you? I've got enough time to do it. It was among the hardest things that I've ever had to do in my life, and it was not overnight. I'm not one of those guys that had the intestinal fortitude to just stop smoking. I did stop smoking cigarettes, but man, I didn't. You don't realize just how hooked you are on nicotine until the day you don't have it anymore, and you realize, wow, this is crazy. I don't want to smoke. I don't want to smoke. But I want to get the sensation, the wanting, the craving. How do I get rid of that? And the answer was Big Red, Samson Twist. I did that. Nicorette. I was able to do some of that.
Chew it up.
Oh, God, it was more expensive. Nicorette was more expensive than cigarettes at the time. And I couldn't understand, how it was not, a huge part of these free cessation programs. I think it is now, but it wasn't then. 9:55. I got to take a break here and come right back.
Your big business dreams mean you should be using the best tools. At Docomo Pacific, you get the best technology at the best value. Visit business.docomopacific.com to get an instant quote. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Celebrating BK's 34th anniversary, Whopper Wednesday is back every Wednesday in May. Visit participating Burger King restaurants and say, I love the Whoppers, and get a free flame-grilled Whopper sandwich with the purchase of any large-size Whopper combo meal. Top off your meal with French fries or onion rings and a refreshing Coca-Cola. Tell your friends and family and enjoy your Whopper Wednesday only in May. Available at BK Agutnia, Tumon Bay, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. Thank you, Guam, for 34 years. You rule.
Express yourself into the groove. The Guam Chamber of Commerce celebrates its 99th anniversary at the Dusatani Resort on May 6th with the theme of Madonna's Vogue. The Chamber's membership includes many corporations, large and small, entrepreneurs, and nonprofit organizations. Members play a key part in making Guam a star-bright place to live, work, and play. Let's congratulate the Guam Chamber of Commerce and its members on celebrating its 99th anniversary.
All right, here's what we got. In my head, Doug Moylan, as I end the program at 9:56. AG takes jab at Guam's Homeless Coalition's 5-year plan. He says it reeks of bureaucracy. And he's right. Guam's elected attorney general, this is from KUAM's news story. Thank you, Matsuki Hirayama, for putting it together. The coalition recently unveiled a 5-year action framework that outlines... Hold on a second. Can I start here? Can I just... Are you making fun of me? That's the way I'm laughing because I hurt my back, Joe.
I'm laughing at them, man.
The coalition unveiled a 5-year action framework. Doesn't the word action generally entail, I don't know, moving faster than 5 years? We've got an action plan. Well, how long is it going to take for us to get to the end of it? It'll take us 5 years. I think that in my mind, that's the opposite of action. But anyway, so 5-year action plan that outlines specific actions to improve services for those experiencing homelessness and poverty. AG responded, says, this thing reeks of bureaucracy. When I saw those documents coming from the Homeless Coalition, it reeked of bureaucracy. I'm concerned by the release, given the fact that they don't want to participate in our first homeless initiative, where we were cleaning up the Dededo Mall area, what was referred to on the Ray Gibson Show as the Camp Leon Guerrero. At any rate, I'll tell you why Doug Moylan, again, is right here. Because, number one, there is no action. Action is we're going to get this done next week, not in 5 years. And I'm sorry, I've got friends in the Homeless Coalition, and I think your plans here, as to the degree that it is going to be as lacking any sense of timeliness, we take too long on this. We will become San Francisco. We will become Venice Beach. We will become Oregon. Have you seen this? You get it at CNN. I'm sure everybody over at CNN is going, this is the right thing to do. Oregon bill would decriminalize homeless encampments and propose penalties if unhoused people, there's another way that homeless, are harassed or ordered to leave. Democrats in the of course, D for Democrats. No, it stands for dumbass. In the Oregon House of Representatives have introduced a bill that would decriminalize homeless encampments in public places and allow homeless people to sue for $1,000 if they are harassed or told to leave. 3501 House bill would allow unhoused people, the homeless, to use public spaces, quote, without discrimination and time limitations regarding their housing status. Many persons in Oregon have experienced homelessness as a result of economic hardships, a shortage of safe and affordable housing, the inability to obtain gainful employment, and a disintegrating social safety net system. Well, maybe if there weren't druggies all over the place. Well, I hate to overemphasize. In many cases, though, they say now that this is the right thing to do to protect all of these poor people. You know why they're poor? Maybe if you run the government in Oregon, maybe you can do something about the runaway prices and inflationary pressures that the people might have, that unnecessary government red tape is adding to the cost of everything. Kind of the same way I view business privilege taxes here on Guam. Maybe if we brought those numbers down, maybe people would have a fighting chance on the income that they've got to be able to make a decent living around here. But, we'll save the rest of that conversation for tomorrow. I got to go. My back hurts. I'm going to be back on the radio tomorrow and probably going to be complaining less about it, I hope. Stand by now. It's time for Fox News Live 93.3. Did you hear? Where peak is best. Here's Fox News.
Asking the public for help. I'm Joe Chiro, Fox News. The suspect, who authorities say killed 5 of his neighbors in Cleveland, Texas, including a child, is still at large. And law enforcement